LeBron James. LeBron James. Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome LeBron James to the show.
Welcome LeBron James to the show.
LeBron James.
Brought LeBron on to talk some football today. This is Hennessy times LeBron, which equals drunk on a Friday morning. Guys, you want a sip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pass it around.
All right, especially after a big win like that last night, huh?
What would you say is Hennessy?
It's a cognac.
Cognac.
And what is cognac?
I couldn't tell you, but one time I had a whole bottle of it and woke up with all my clothes on my second year in college, sitting on the couch. Never made it to the bar. Had a nice outfit and the whole thing. Tim's, a matching Timberland polo with long sleeves. A terrible outfit. Luckily, Hennessy saved my ass and I didn't wear it in public.
That smells like the what's Dewar's?
Dewar's?
Yeah.
Scotch?
Scotch.
It's
Smells
not.
like
It doesn't
Scotch.
taste like Scotch. Have a sip.
Smells like yeah. I got.
Have a sip. The king implores you.
Yeah. LeBron James.
He implores you
Yeah.
to have a little drink on a Friday.
Cheers to a Friday, fellas.
Boy, Reed, let me see. Did you? No, you took it easy. I thought you were gonna get fucked up this morning. Cheers. I had to drink on.
Ooh.
Wow, that's very good.
Not bad.
That was 4 whoops and 1. Oh, nice.
No, I mean honestly,
Yeah.
that tastes a lot better than Evan Williams.
It's
I'm gonna mix it
hey,
with my
Nolan.
coffee.
Can we talk about that, Nolan? Oh, you're not even in the. You're
Yeah.
not in the room. I'm looking around for Nolan like I didn't just talk to him on the phone.
And Nolan didn't get a shot.
Nolan didn't get a shot. That is, I mean, hey, man.
Nolan's
That's
sitting
so
in New
bad.
York without
Probably
a
for the
shot.
best.
Yeah. Before we move to the next thing, I have something for Macon.
Oh.
I want to give that to you.
Thank you.
Oh shit! I'm on the wrong. What are you giving him?
Only.
Oh.
What is it?
Oh, Kenny. Signed Ken.
No way!
Now
that.
Macon gets something
Wow.
on the.
Authentic.
Wow.
Oh, he has an authentic certification
Yeah.
with it.
This document certifies this item of memorabilia is 100% authentic and is guaranteed for life. I'll be damned, cowboy.
That's your set piece now.
I'll buy that for
for you?
you for $20.
Hey, that's awesome.
$20. It looks like John Elway, that signature.
It does look like John Elway.
Yeah.
eBay,
Maybe that's what he was signing.
Yeah.
eBay last
know.
sold $10.
Yeah.
You can
Hey.
make double.
Hey, priceless.
Hey, welcome to the chat, y'all. The Henny is good. The Henny
Terrific.
Hey, is Henny times LeBron any different than Hennessy?
No.
Yeah, there's the clout. You're like
It
drinking.
kind of tasted different to me.
Yeah, it definitely tastes
It
different.
tasted different to me.
It
LeBron, I don't know what you're putting in these Hennessy's,
Did it taste old,
but keep it up. No, it tasted.
nepotistic?
No, it did not. It
right.
tasted still viable.
Statistic.
Still viable.
Okay.
It's still like top 10 player.
The graphics going the hardest right now are father-son combo point totals in the NBA.
Are they really?
Yeah, LeBron at 40-some thousand and Bronny at 0. Together they make 40-some thousand.
It's more than D Wade and Chris Bosh.
I'm not as a Nepo baby, I'm not gonna laugh. And Matt, you told me my hair looked good. It looks like shit. I'm putting on a fucking hat.
I was
just
lying
saw it
to
in the
build your
chat.
confidence.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, come on, that's
Damn.
crazy. Just tell me to put the hat on. I was trying to turn over a new leaf.
What does look good is the BetMGM ad that we're going to read here in a second. Because our show, Week 8 Previews, is brought to us by BetMGM.
Oh, as you know, we've teamed up with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all our picks, and we'll have special offers for you listeners each week. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager. With BetMGM, here's how it works. Number 1, download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Number 2, deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. Number 3, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up.
Now they say up to $1,500. Why don't they say up to $6 million? The up to protects you fully.
You can't do this. We're talking about the sponsors.
BetMGM.
You know?
Download it.
Bad, Macon. Bad.
It's interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Before we ask the people for their GLP MRP, Matt Roth in the chat wanted to know if you'll make a comeback if Waylon or Luke makes the NFL. Or June.
No, I won't. We're not going to get. No, I don't want to like. It's going to be special. We'll get CTE together. Nah. I hope my kids are bankers and fucking dentists and like they never do what I did.
Has there been third generation NFL yet?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had
The
Karras,
Matthews
right?
Family, right?
Yeah, Matthews and
Yeah.
Karras, I
yeah.
think.
Bunch of nepo babies. All nepo. Nepo Cabbage Patch.
Pressure's going to be on Waylon's kids.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. It's gonna be so easy. I love seeing Mad Dog ranting about Matt, I sent you this clip of Mad Dog ranting on the Dan Patrick show about how this LeBron and Bronny thing is just I cannot believe the guy got on TV with his hair like that. As a guy who just put on a hat because my hair was a little fucked up.
I thought you were inspired by him.
Yo, I really, if I did what Mad Dog did, my hair would, I can't even fuck my hair up to where Mad Dog had his hair fucked up. I mean, I want to be as comfortable in my own skin as Mad Dog one day.
He was pulling his hair out because he's so upset about Bronny.
Yeah, he was.
Kind of ridiculous.
Jimmy Train had a great tweet on it. He said that's the look of a man who might have taken the wrong dosage of gummies.
Who's that?
Jimmy Train on
He
Mad
said
Dog.
he said that Mad Dog probably when
Yeah,
Mad
took
Dog
him
said
in.
he was taking gummies, he became my favorite guy. My favorite guy. And it's pretty clear to me he has a bookie. I would tell him to sign up for BetMGM. It's a lot easier that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get started, huh?
GLP MRP. That's the green light most random player. We want to hear from you. Eagles at Bengals is the game of the week this week. Who are your most random players from?
Well,
the two teams?
I wasn't quite ready because I thought that was coming up after Thursday Night Football. I didn't look at the document.
Sorry,
I'm sorry, Reed.
sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I thought it was going to lead into Eagles Bengals, but we'll give you the MRP now, our special MRP segment, one of a kind. You know?
Well, we can let the people. Why don't we start it and we can let the people think. We can talk about Sunday night and then
Yeah,
name
just
them.
a little prompt there. That's why you get paid the big bucks, dog, because you think of solutions like that on the fly. We'll give you a chance to marinate on who you want your MRP to be. Just a reminder.
Drop them in the chat.
Drop them in the chat.
We'll pick off of Twitter on Monday. But so drop some ideas in the
Damn,
chat
I'm like
and then
Spread Eagle on this.
we'll
YouTube,
share
bro.
it
Gotta be
on
careful
Twitter.
about what kind of khakis you wear and shit.
Yeah, you do. When we talk about it after Sunday Night Football.
Seriously.
Puka.
What about Puka?
Puka's wearing them bone unis last night. They gave him a full-on shot. And he was,
Is that why you sent me that picture?
Yeah, that was a...
Oh, I wasn't looking at that at
You
all.
should take another look.
I was looking at his hair.
Yeah,
The guy's lettuce is impeccable. I don't want to see that picture.
might be compensating.
Really?
I'm afraid so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I don't
so
wanna-
it's a so
I don't want to get it.
it's a white thing. You're turning into Jerry Jones.
What time is it? 9:44. Nate brings up race and homophobia.
Dude, I just cashed my under.
He just
I just cashed my under on Nate. I had 9.
Hey, listen.
he just
He just Jerry
said
Jones.
that
He Jerry
he
Jones somebody.
sent you a picture
Yeah.
to look at someone's dick through their pants.
I did.
Well, to
No,
be,
we said none of those things.
to-
We implied those things.
to be dead honest,
That's where it starts, though. If you're at this
and then
age,
next
when
thing
you
you
get
know-
to Jerry Jones's age, it's no more implying.
he's showing you something.
Like, bro, like I don't.
I didn't want to see it either. I didn't even realize. I woke up this morning and like hearted the picture because I was like, yeah, he played awesome.
And you hearted it.
Yeah, because he played awesome. I didn't know what he. Now, Nate.
In my defense,
you
we have a
understand,
long history of exchanging such pictures.
Yeah, because I used to say, I'll be honest, there was a college kicker who it looked like he had the thimble from the Monopoly thing going on, and he had just hit a kick, and they had him on TV like this, and I felt so bad for the cat because the thing was just it looked like a little Audi belly button. So I sent him that, and now he's sending me.
So this is what you guys do.
Yeah, but big ones too.
If that's what you want us to do, Nate, sure, that's what
Not
we do.
you're telling me what you guys are doing.
Can-
I'm just asking.
Can we talk football this morning,
Yeah, let's
or is it
do
going to
it.
be all homophobia and race?
It's not homophobia.
There's nothing Nate does better.
Congratulations to you on your Thursday night time machine win.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I wish we could run back the tape. I wish we could run back the tape because I told you what would happen. Now, I'm not going to gloat. That's the last I'm going to gloat about it. I think the call at the end of the game was a blown call. I mean, how could you not?
There are a few others on third downs in the first half.
I didn't hate all the third down calls. You know, there was one where like Cooper Kupp routed Gilly, and then Gilly caught up and hit him in the chest, and then, and you know, I can see people are complaining about that call. And listen, the bottom line is the Rams, who lost Cam Curl early, and you know Justin Jefferson started going off like immediately. They found a way to stabilize, man. Like they really did. Justin Jefferson got like a bunch of targets on the first drive, I feel like, or the first couple drives, and then, you know, it was like last week. I think he got 8 targets on the – no, was it 8 targets? Whatever it was.
Yeah.
And there were 4 on one drive out of the
receptions.
half, and then it's 4 spread out among the rest of the game. And I thought, like, Justin Jefferson did not get the ball enough throughout the game. But more than anything, this was like a big McVay spot. I really feel that way. Like, B-Flow had gotten him in the Super Bowl. I don't think he forgot about that. I think he got him again at the end of Goff's run.
Y'all.
What's that?
That's the Thursday Night Time Machine. If you want to go to it.
Okay, sure. Run it. Yeah, sure.
Need I say a fucking word?
Shout out to Macon in the backyard.
That doesn't scream trade deadline at you. Like fall colors to me, that's trade deadline. That's wide receivers on the move. There might be a wide receiver for the Rams tonight on the move in the future, but let's stick to Thursday Night Football, where my lead in Thursday Night Time Machine is dwindling to Macon, one of the best real estate agents in the game. By the way,
Did you hear that part?
And
Yeah, I did.
Backyard. Well, I don't own the backyard. I paid for it. He checked for radon, stuff like that. But tonight, I am waxing that ass, buddy. I'm waxing that ass.
I actually thought I was going to lose.
I know it. You like the Vikings? Bounce back week. KOC sticking it to his old boss. Rams offensive line suspect. I know. But a couple things. Return of Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp. The middle of the field has been open for Minnesota. Sean McVay is going to find a way. Sean McVay wants to ride out with these guys one more time before he ships Cooper Kupp to God knows where, Pittsburgh or something.
I don't think that might happen now.
Let's do it one more time. Not to mention, there is a theory floating around. I don't know who came up with it. Detroit Lions, when they play you, it's hard to get out of bed the next day. It's hard to win the next week, let alone cover. By the way, Rams +4 got it early, bought a half point. Tonight, it is Rams 23-20. Sprinkle a little on the money line, and let's get this thing going. Rams up.
My
All right.
favorite Viking.
I'm not trying to do this to you.
That's okay.
This is gamesmanship. He didn't really think the Vikings were going to win.
All right. Minnesota 24. LA 18.
Hangover. It's good. You had me shaking in my boots because I was like, if I lose Thursday Night Time Machine, you're going to have a huge dunk. I knew you were going to try to go for the dunk. You know, I don't even know if you really believed the Vikings were going to win, but you had to take them.
I knew you were going to go LA because of the theory.
Now, listen, the theory is held up. Like whether the call was blown. Like if you're in this chat, and I don't even want to look, complaining about the call, saying, yeah, but the call. You know, I do think the call would have given them, obviously, an opportunity to march down the field 80 yards with no timeouts in a half where they've scored 3 points, and they were going to get an opportunity to score a touchdown and kick the 2-point conversion. If you believe that was likely, and, hey, if I was on the other side of this thing, I'd be screaming about the call, too. It was a terrible call. Just a god-awful no call. I will say this, though. You know, it wasn't like a middle of the face. It was kind of the side of the face mask. And that does make – well, I mean, I don't think it – I just told you I think it's a terrible call. I'm not making a case for – I'm just trying to give people a full, assessment of what's going on in the field there. The guy cannot miss that call. But, you know, if you're a Vikings fan and you think the call cost you the game, I would ask you, did you come to play? And if you can make a case – it's like I told a guy on Twitter.com last night. I said, like, if you think your team looked good on a short week off Detroit, taking you to the wire and winning, please elaborate on that because I don't think the Vikings looked great, especially after Darisaw went down. I mean, that's a big one.
Take a knee.
Yep.
You can take a knee.
Yeah.
LA had one timeout. That's the beauty of them having to use timeouts. You can take a knee.
You can absolutely take a knee, and it kind of reminded me of actually. It's to me, it's worse than the Godwin thing. I don't think is a problem because, as I outlined the other day, and fans are always going to have. We got into this a couple years ago about Brandon Staley, I think, and he had kept Mike Williams in a meaningless game.
Yeah.
Some people said, and Chris Godwin. They're a field goal away from an onside kick and then, one last heave. Whether you think that's worth it or not, having Chris Godwin out there, he did get hurt. It was a football play. And then at the end of the half here with Darisaw, I do think, there was nothing to gain having to run plays there. So
They had room.
the worst possible thing happened. And they were at the 5, and I think they got backed up half distance to the goal. You can still take a knee there.
I think you still have room.
Yes.
And it was just one of those things where I think somebody from the defense came in and leg whipped him, just flying in there.
I think it was Byron Young off the other side getting blocked around. And Jared Verse had 1 pressure on 13 rushes in the first half. Obviously, after the Darisaw injury, he had 3 pressures on 10 in the second half.
Somebody asked, and Quesenberry, he was a problem. And I think and another reason why I don't think necessarily, and I'm just being honest, I know I'm on the other side of this thing, but I don't think y'all were coming down the field getting 6 and a 2-point conversion the way that the left tackle was playing, the way that the offense had played throughout the second half. That is a big difference. And, I just, Matt Stafford sometimes looks like a magician out there. I mean, he really does. And for somebody like Cooper Kupp, who we're talking about trading, the irony is his trade value went up last night, and I'm not sure if he's on the table if they win this coming week. And who do they play this coming week? Who do they
Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
In Seattle.
That's a game they can win. They're going to play the Dolphins the week after that. You think Sean McVay and the Patriots the week after that, and the Eagles the week after that, and the Saints the week after that, okay? They have a chance to go on a run here. They're a team last year that was out of it at one point, and people like me implored them to sell. Now, I was wrong because they went and they took Detroit to the wire in one of the best football games of the season.
And they went 7-1 after their bye week in Week 10 last year.
I mean,
7-1 to end the season.
They were great to end the season. When you have Matt Stafford, you always have a chance. And so I think, what I said in my video there before the game was wide receivers on the move, but this is that game where if you win it, maybe you don't sell anybody. Maybe you say, hey, we can get back to the playoffs. Look how close we were. Let's say Jared Verse finally got home. I talk glowingly about the kid because – and somebody texted me last night that we know, and they said because he might say, oh, now you're on the other side of this thing. He said he looks like a young Khalil Mack out there. I think that's a little rich. But I do think he looks like a guy who can be your number 1 rusher.
He is the DROY favorite on BetMGM at plus 225.
And honestly, he should be.
Yeah.
If you're watching the tape, the numbers aren't always going to support this kid because he's not a great hoop turner. He's not a great bend it at the top of the rush guy. And he flies in there out of control and misses some sacks. I know exactly what that feels like. In that uniform, okay? But I think the thing that people are going to realize in today's day and age where you can actually track pressures, disruptions, people have all 22, a guy like that who's disruptive and doesn't get the numbers is going to get his due. And I think Jared Verse should because him, Young, Fisk, it's a very good little group of rushers. And by little, I mean young. Yeah. But last night he finally got home and he came on and I just thought Darius Williams, who got beat on that circus catch down, and the Vikings go tempo. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
They go tempo and, they're trying to beat the challenge flag. I thought Darius Williams knocking that ball down in the flat there, tried to go quick to the perimeter was huge because it set them up to kick a field goal.
Well, and first down was a loss of 3 or 4
That's what I mean.
because they're hurrying up.
That's what I mean. That's the play.
And I think he caught it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you want to hurry up no matter what, but
He
I
did
think
catch
he caught
it. He
it.
did catch
so
it.
you'd like to have more time to.
It felt like in the red zone in that possession, they were just kind of oh, we're down here.
Yeah.
As much as they ran the ball up and down the field. So And Mike Shula, my brother in Christ, why do we have Michael Hoyt, or however you say his name, on Aaron Jones? And I know he's a nice chess piece for the Rams. I mean him no disrespect. But I wouldn't want Julius Peppers on Aaron Jones. You know?
Chris Shula, right?
Chris Shula. Did I say Mike Shula? Chris Shula.
Yeah.
My apologies, my brother in Christ. But Chris, my brother in namesake, you know? Like,
Y'all are both named Christ.
Christ bearers, dude.
Yeah.
We need to keep that guy out of man-to-man coverage with running backs, just in general. But I thought the Rams defense was scrappy, and listen,
And
Darnold, go ahead.
When that happens, is that the offense like kind of seeing that and manipulating that? Like, oh, he has to play man on one of the guys out of the backfield, right?
Oh, for sure. They know when they break the huddle, they're like, oh my God, we're getting the look.
Yeah.
It's 3rd and 3. It's like a big 3rd and 3. They're like, oh my God, they're really doing this. You know, and I think those are the matchups that you want to stay out of. I thought the Rams screen game was good. I thought obviously some drives got extended. How much better do Rams role players look when they are matched up with equally talented players? Right. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one thing that like really stands out to me. Robinson late in the game, you know, they took some shots to Atwell. The shot to Atwell's there, you know. Stafford just underthrew him a little bit. So there were more points on the field.
2-2.
But I look at it, and I don't even blame him. I think Stafford's got to put more, you know, he's got to really lead him a little bit more. But, you know, the last few weeks, these guys have had to go against first, second corners like dudes. It's not designed that way. McVay is going to beat your third and fourth corner. The depth in this receiving core when it's all together is very good. And so
DeMarcus Robinson, 2 touchdowns.
2 tuds.
That first one was a great catch. Picked it off the turf.
2 tuds, man. So I guess what we should be talking about is, you know, what if they move guys? You know, that this was a rumor last week where Stafford was on the move. I think that was bullshit, right? Or I think it was a situation where they're trying to drum up a little interest and see what was out there. I looked at a few teams. Let's play Fantasyland. Where would you guys place him at, Stafford?
Nowhere. He's 50 years old.
That's right.
Stafford?
Yeah.
Raiders.
That's a great call, and we looked at that.
Raiders.
We looked at the Raiders thing. What did we find out with the Raiders thing? There's a little bit of
So right now with the contract situation, a team would need 14 mil in space if they want to acquire him. Raiders, they have the space, but they just sold their best receiver to the Jets.
So the
spot is L.A.
So the teams that could afford him don't look like they're. And I couldn't remember who else we looked at. Maybe Cleveland. No, was it Cleveland? Yeah. You know, they just moved Amari Cooper. You know, and like why? You know, the Raiders, same thing.
And then Tennessee as well, right?
Tennessee, they're selling, so why would you buy? So this is like, you know, if you think about it, like most quarterbacks that get traded, it's because of an injury, and maybe there's an injury over the next 2 weeks, and maybe the Rams lose this game or something like that, and things line up, and he gets moved. But I don't think so, because the last guy to get traded who was a dude mid-season, I think was Carson Palmer when he went to the Raiders, ironically. And I think that situation was a little bit loaded. So, anyways, like, hey, if Kupp was available, absolutely somebody would send over maybe a 2. Like
the Rams' problem is McVay is too good a coach. Like his ability to get wins with a substandard roster keeps them in an organizational purgatory where they're not looking to make a trade because hey, we're a game out of first in the division.
Yeah, no, and for the GM, it was like me and Nolan were talking about this like on the ride over here. It's like, man, you wake up this morning, you're Les Snead. I'm not saying you wish you lost, but it would make things a lot simpler.
Right.
You know what I mean? You'd know where you need to go. But these damn guys, man, McVay, Kupp, Stafford, you know, like they're the triplets. You know, now you got Puka and the whole thing, but they've been some places, man. I think it's deeper than just a, you know, trade deadline thing for them. You know, they've been some places. They've done some things. When you win a championship together, it's deep, you know, and they're not just going to ship this guy off unless they got no shot. So,
GOP MRP?
Sure, let's
do
it.
For it.
Yeah, let's do it. Hell yeah,
right.
hell yeah, hell yeah.
So, Nate, do you have a most random player from the Eagles Bengals? We'll start with you.
I do. How about Corey Dickerson, your cousin.
Yeah.
Corey Dickerson.
Remember
Dickerson?
Kori.
You're on a little bit of a kick this morning, aren't you?
Oh, you guys. You guys.
All right, Corey Dickerson. Let me look this guy up.
Yeah, he's so random.
Tight end.
I'm not
I see
familiar
a
with his work.
I see a baseball player.
Played for the Eagles 2002 and 2003.
And then I also have, thought you guys would like this, Ignitus James Zinn.
No way, dude.
Zintel is his last name.
Oh, okay.
Zyntel. Ignitus.
I got one for you guys from Cincinnati. Antoine Odom. Okay, do you remember him?
Yep.
Defensive end.
Yep.
What do you remember about this guy?
His name only.
Okay, because I'll never forget.
Lamar's cousin.
And I'm trying to look it up. Born 9/24/1981. He was huge from Mobile, Alabama. The guy was just a monster. But in Cincinnati one year, he had a 6-sack game. A 6-sack game in 2009. This is my second year in the league, I think. And I was sitting there watching SportsCenter. I'm like, man, I've never heard of this guy, and he's got more sacks than me on the season. Like, I am fucked. He had it in one game, dude. It was incredible. 6 sacks. That's like a Derek Thomas type day. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else had a day like that? Do you remember? God, what the fuck is the guy? Adrian Claiborne.
Adrian Claiborne.
Those two guys are the least celebrated rushers to ever have like a 5-6 sack game. Adrian Claiborne, I think, had 5 sacks against the Falcons.
Yeah,
You remember that?
He was a baller.
Or as a
yeah.
Falcon. I forget what it was. He was a damn good player.
Yeah.
36 years old now.
Derek Thomas has a record at 7. And the guys with 6 are also Derek Thomas, Khalil Mack, Adrian Claiborne, Osi Umenyiora, and Fred Dean.
Now, you know who had a 5-sack game? Do you know?
Vonnie Holiday.
Howie Long.
Howie
Big
Long.
Hal.
Yeah. Howie Long had a 5-sacker. Khalil Mack's had a 5-sacker.
October 2nd, 1983.
Yeah.
I've got some random Eagles.
Uh-huh.
I did some crowdsourcing with some diehard.
Oh, nice. I love it.
good names here.
Yes, that must be good.
I'm gonna give you a DB Hazaleo Hansen.
Azaleo Hansen.
How about punter Sav Raka?
Okay.
How about
Return specialist Reno Mahe?
What you're
And
thinking, though.
as
How about
Yeah.
Hank
As a bonus.
Basket?
Hank, there you go.
There you go. Now that's more.
Hank Basket was in the chat.
What are you going to say? Because I think I agree.
You guys are picking
As a
fun
bonus.
names.
You're
We
picking
need
fun
to-
names.
We need to know. Of
We
the
need to
players.
elicit. They need to elicit a little bit of a memory.
Here you
Oh.
go.
I got one.
Okay.
I got a bonus who's both an Eagle and a Bengal.
Ooh, NFL grids.
Linebacker Dahani Jones.
Dahani
There you
Jones
Honey.
New York Giants.
traveled the world.
Travel the world.
Yeah.
Sat down with the KKK member.
Okay.
Remember that?
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Really?
During that tour. Look it up. You fact check it.
Like,
Does he
in
have
what
like
capacity?
Was he a politician too? Do you have
I don't know. It was just during that tour of him
seen a lot
doing
of
the
that
world.
I'm going with Kimo von Oelhoffen, Bengal and Eagle
very good?
player.
Very good.
Nice.
Okay.
Eric-
so people. in
Eric
the chat-
Bieniemy is mine.
Eric Bieniemy. That's
Bengal
great.
and Eagle as well.
That's great. I didn't know he was a Bengal and an Eagle.
Eagle in 1999, Bengal in 95 to 98.
Dude, people are gonna crush NFL grids.
I got a
After
Bengal.
watching this show.
I got a Bengal.
What?
Jeffrey Gunter.
Oh yeah,
Oh, damn, that's good.
my cousin,
cousin.
also an Arizona Cardinal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he could be your cousin.
Yeah, I'm familiar with.
All right,
this guy.
I'm looking in
Yep.
I'm looking in the chat before we move on and break
We've got
this game down. We've got
Icky Woods,
Chad Lewis, Donnie Jones.
Ray Malaluga, Jerome Simpson.
Oh yeah, the front flip into the end zone.
Listen, wide
Todd
receiver
Pinkston.
Carl Pickens.
There you go.
Carl Pickens. I don't know him.
Carl Pickens?
I really don't.
Like when we were
George's
Young
dad,
Bucks
his
and
name would
Madden,
say.
big receiver.
Maybe I'm forgetting him.
Rudy Johnson,
I know Rudy Johnson.
Garrison Hurst.
Kijana Carter.
Garrison Hurst, great. Okay, I think we've loaded the people up with options.
Why don't we talk about the game?
Let's talk about the game.
Preview this bad boy.
And I made it the game of the week because I can't make it was for the reason of like Commanders and Ravens were just the game of the week. So we had to switch it up. So Eagles Bengals.
And the Bengals are favored 2.5.
They probably should be. I mean, I have worries about the Eagles' secondary. Even like here's what it comes down to for me. Two matchups. Imagine being rookies. Like when you're a rookie, you were just living on a college campus. Now today they're NIL earners and they've got social media and that sort of thing. But back when I was a rookie, like there's just no comparing your experiences from 6 to 8 months ago juxtaposed with walking into the link for my first game and looking across and seeing Trey Thomas, Brian Westbrook, Donovan McNabb. Like it was crazy. You're just like, whoa. Like, and I didn't have to, I mean, I had to rush Trey Thomas and, you know, I'd bump into John Runyon and that sort of thing. But I wasn't tasked with manning up Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. And I think that, to me, on the road, going into a hostile environment, knowing that you got to count on two rookies now, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, to kind of in some situations hang with these two all-world guys that they grew up watching play. Like really, through their college years, they're watching the Bengals. These guys have been in Super Bowls and that sort of thing. So, Super Bowl. They've made playoff runs. Like this has got it. Imagine your head hitting the pillow at your hotel in Cincinnati the night before. And if you've been in a team meeting the night before a game, like it's tense. And, you know, it feels like a foxhole kind of deal when you're on the road. And I'm just imagining these guys hitting the sack Saturday night and thinking, hey, tomorrow I got to guard Jamar Chase and Higgins. I mean, that's not what the game's going to come down to, but it's a lot of it.
But for me, I would think it shouldn't be that much pressure because on a daily basis since camp, they've been going against A.J. Brown and D. Smith.
That's a really good point.
So, like, I feel like you should be ready for this type of matchup. Like, I'm not saying that that Smith and Brown are a better combo than Chase and Higgins, but it's the same stuff. It's the same routes. It's guys are fast. It's quick tinge. It's making decisions, the right leverage and things like that. And I mean, this is why you're getting paid, and this is why you're in a position. So it's more that I like to think that guys, you get excited for this. Like, this is where you put like your name on the map. Like, hey, this is why I got drafted.
Yeah.
This is what they want to see.
Yeah.
This is what the fans want to see. Can we stand up to this duo and do what we're supposed to, or are they going to cook us, like, and everyone's going to be like, see, these guys aren't ready for big challenges or whatever it may be. And it's just one of those things too. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's just one game, but it's one of those things. It could be a hangover in a good way where people are talking about this, like, look how well these guys did, or it could go the other way, like, damn, Chase like made those guys look pedestrian.
Well, I mean, listen, it is a thing when you go on the road in the NFL. They've been to Tampa, they've been to Rio. Where else have they played? I can't remember, you know, because we cover so many damn teams. Which road games the Eagles have been in so far?
They went to New Orleans,
Atlanta at home, New Orleans on
and New York.
So New Orleans is kind of like that. New Orleans is one of the toughest places to play in the league. So they've had that experience. But like going to Cincinnati, this team is, again, they've had their back against the wall for a month, right? Trying not to be cooked, Nate. You know, this is going to be one of those back against the wall games for the Bengals. And, you know, I said when the Bengals have the ball, you got to worry about that matchup. I also think that you have to really look at the matchups up front for the Bengals offensive line. And I think it comes down to, for me, one guy's health is paramount for the Bengals, and that's Orlando Brown, because the backup, what's his name, Nolan?
Cody Ford.
Cody Ford. He was a guard, didn't work out for him. He's been in Buffalo. But let me just tell you, when he popped in the game the other day, and I'm not trying to be an asshole, I mean, this is like I was sitting in a defensive line room. We'd be saying, hey, there's the fish. You know, there's a line around the corner to walk in and meet the fish. You know what I mean? So if Orlando's not up, which I think he should be up,
he's limited, practicing limited with the knee injury.
I think if he's practicing limited, he'll probably go, but I'm not sure. I think Volson, the left guard, struggles with movement like games. I would be running pressures at him. And I think the Carter Kappa matchup is huge. If you remember last year, Sheldon Rankins went off in a game in Cincinnati, the game that the Texans beat the Bengals. And a twitchy, shifty guy with good strength and explosion, like he can give Kappa problems. And I think about that hump move that's going to be there, the overset stuff with him. That Carter Kappa matchup is a must win. You got to have like a Rankins game in this situation. And then I think Huff and Mims is going to be very interesting. You talk about a guy like Huff who's been given shit all season long about his production, came out last week, had a bunch of pressures, got on the board. There's a major size mismatch with Mims. He's a giant man. And, I think you can go up and under on him. I'm going to be interested to see if Huff can use that size mismatch. It's like a reverse size mismatch when you got a guy whose leverage is as good as Huff next to a guy who's as big as that. Last week, as an aside, watching that Browns-Bengals game, Mims and Garrett was like Clash of the Titans for the few plays I saw. Like Mims was locked in, and he did a pretty good job. It's amazing when you see somebody who's equal size and talent to Myles Garrett, and not that he's equal talent, but equal size. It's like King Kong Godzilla. It's like two monsters just duking it out, and we only got it for like 5 snaps. But then Myles went over to the other side, which is actually kind of a compliment. I'm not saying he was running from Mims, but what I am saying is like Mims was doing a pretty good job, and for a guy that's picking his matchups, he's like, I'll take the other guy. So Mims, Huff, and I thought Mims had his best game as a pro. If you're a Bengals fan, you should be excited about this kid. 5th lowest pressure rate of all rookies in Week 7, 3%. So when the Eagles have the ball, this is the interesting thing. When you think about the Eagles and the problems right now, what do you guys think? What's the biggest problem the Eagles have right now?
Coaching.
First quarter scoring.
There you go. There you go. First quarter, first drive. Okay, so did some crunching in the numbers. First drives. Eagles dead last in the league in efficiency on their first drives of the game. Not a surprise to anybody. On those drives, it's a 33-67 run-pass split. Okay? So they're not running the ball a lot on early drives. We talked about that. They rank 5th in efficiency on all subsequent drives. And the split there is 48-52. So I said, let's look back. I am not saying I know that Nick Sirianni is calling plays early in the game. I am not saying he writes the script. But he has in the past said, I do weigh in at times. And I said, let's look back at first drives from, say, 2021, before Steichen took over play calling. Weeks 1 to 8. I swear it's not a typo. I almost do not believe.
Is it 33-67?
It is 33-67 run pass.
That's amazing.
Before Shane Steichen took over. And I'm not saying I know something. I don't text my boys and ask them what's going on. I don't abuse that at all. I don't do guesswork. But what I'm doing right now is a little bit of guesswork. 33-67 weeks 1 through 8 in 2021 before Shane took over. And then this year, 33-67 run pass as well on first drives. Okay? Steichen took over as 48-52.
No. The exact same 48-52? Holy shit.
Is that and then Kellen Moore, who's usually in the 40 to 40-60 range, like maybe 43-57, but generally more balanced than 33% run.
Wow.
So I'm not saying that I know something.
I look forward to hearing this on another podcast soon.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Schefter's going to tweet it soon. There's a rumor going around. I don't know who, Hey, real recognize, what is that? Real ones know. Mm-hmm. Real ones know. I'm not even going to chase other podcasts down anymore, although I did press Schefter this morning a little bit. I felt bad because somebody was like, make Schefter credit you for this niche Lions stat that all of a sudden everybody thought of. And it's kind of a bit at this point. And I said, you got a better chance of seeing God. And Schefter replied under it, I'll credit you guys. You know, and tell your dad hi. Like, here, I'll give you some crumbs. Tell your dad hi. But yeah, somebody's gonna come out with this thing, and maybe I'm fucking wrong here. Did we mess the math up? Like, I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm not saying it's
Double check, triple check.
We double checked the numbers, dude. I'm
Wild.
If the shoe fits, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. But the glove fits here, you know?
Yeah, and you marry that with top 5 in rushing efficiency, league average, and passing efficiency. Stick to what you do best.
Dude,
On the board.
This has got to be a keep away game. I think you can run the ball in this front, and I think Hendrickson and Fred Johnson is going to be the big matchup. When you drop back to pass, is the one guy that could wreck the game. And Fred, I think, gave up 4 pressures last week. He's got the best offensive line coach in the league, and Jeff Stoutland. Okay. But Hendrickson is cagey now. I'm just telling you. You know, you're going to get double swipe. You're going to get the power inside. He's going to open you up. He's going to open you up inside. He's going to open you up outside. You got to be careful with your punch. You got to set him inside out. You can't get too high over the top. He is a true option rusher. And by that I mean he's a guy who's going to hit for average as well as hitting some home runs, because there's not a lot of plays where he's not taking what you're giving him. You know, a lot of guys guess, you know, but he's going to, if you're going to throw him a curveball, he's going to react and hit the curveball. If you're going to throw the ball outside, he's going to take it the other way. You know, he's not a dead pull hitter. He's not somebody who's swinging for the fence. Although he'll hit the ball out of the park, he is truly a take what you give him rusher. And I think the Fred Johnson matchup is huge. So
Johnson gave up 4 pressures last week on 23 snaps.
Yep.
Hendrickson is 4th in the NFL with 35 pressures this season.
Listen, and also something interesting. I'm sorry, Reed. Go ahead.
No.
The last 20 years, only 3 teams have scored 0 points through week 7 in the first quarter.
That's
2021 Jets, who finished 4-13. 2008 Lions, who finished 0-16. And the 2005 Cardinals, who finished 5-11. We must have been fast starters in St. Louis. I was surprised to not see us on this list. But honestly, and I'm not trying to put a homer spin on it, can you imagine if we played the whole game? How good we would be? I mean, we're playing 3 quarters right now, and we got a winning record.
And last week, you really only played 2. You rested everybody in the 4th.
That's right.
Only
2 of 4 quarters.
2 of 4 quarters.
We could have won. We could have won. Hold on. Let me get my Kendrick Perkins calculator out here. 56 to 6.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
Perhaps lose the script. Lose the first 15.
Just throw it out.
Yeah. Unscripted.
Unscripted.
More unscripted. Without any input.
That's good.
Yeah.
Or just run it. Just
Huh?
run it 15 times. How about trying that?
Hey, that would be fine
Like,
with me too.
like, how about just trying that?
That would be fucking fine with me too.
Nick Rosa asked, and we can end on this for this game, but Nick Rosa asked, because this game was flexed, it was supposed to be a 4:25 game, got moved for the Washington-Chicago game. Do players care about the fact that their game gets flexed? Is that something that you all
absolutely.
think about?
I'd be much happier to play this game at what, 4 o'clock or 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
Yep.
Those night games are great when you're sitting there most of your career like me in St. Louis, and you're like, I want to play at night like everybody else. Everybody will realize how good our defensive line is, you know. But it sucks. You sit around all day, and I'd almost rather have nobody watch me, because you sit around all day, like all day. And they spread the meetings out perfectly so you can get like sort of a nap, but not the one you want. You know, you got coaches, you know, walking around. You got to stay in the hotel. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but like, dudes are anxious. I was anxious on a Sunday. I don't know about you, Nate. When you played a night game, what'd you feel like?
I was just, well, it was
Were
different.
you high like me? You were
No.
about to say I was high.
No, it's actually, it was different for me because I was usually a fringe guy, and it sucks because it's like, when you're a fringe guy and one of those 8 floating guys that doesn't know if they're going to be on the 45 game day roster,
Right.
part of the 50, because you have the 53, but only like 45 suit up for games. So a lot of teams I was on that. So it's like
They don't tell you.
they don't tell you, and then depending on your coach, you're gonna get quizzed in front of everybody the night before, and you're gonna get that rapid fire. Hey, what do you do here? And it's kind of like
And they don't want to do it to the vet. They don't want to do it to the vet because they
No.
want to make an example out of the damn. When really it should be quizzing the fucking vet.
yeah. And then a lot of it too is, and I realized that later, is really how much of an asset you are on special teams when you're a guy like that.
Yeah.
So it was just like it was
Bro, on
kind
the
of
new
nerve-wracking.
kickoff, you would have been up every week.
Oh yeah. I definitely would have.
What kind of hotel did they stick you in Jacksonville?
We would be at the Hyatt. There's only so many hotels downtown in Jacksonville, so it was kind of like.
You ever heard of Jalen Hyatt? An inside joke here. You remember that rap I spit? That was pretty good.
Young Joker.
Young Joker.
Big joke.
Young Joker.
Yeah. What was I doing? I was dissing the Giants on behalf of Young Joker, aka Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you were producing a track for him.
I was producing a track where I
writing.
was ghostwriting for him.
Yeah.
If you guys could ever find that, that'd be
It was
pretty
fire. It
Yeah.
was fire. We'll roll it back.
good. You got Jalen Hyatt. I fuck hoes at the Hyatt. I studied
Dable fake. He's see-through.
Dable fakey see-through. No, there were some bars right there from your boy. Anyways, yeah, the hotel thing, sitting in the hotel all day is tough.
Heather in the chat says there's nothing worse for someone with ADHD than having something to do later in the day.
Yo, Heather! Oh my God,
Depends.
you get it, bro. You fucking
But
get it.
I'm not gonna lie. In Chicago, it was
Yeah.
different. We stayed in the Hilton on
Yeah.
Magnificent Mile, and this was like one of those. They would be doing like huge conferences. Like one time we came out and there was like a big Harry Potter conference going on.
Yeah. Just
So
in the
like
lobby.
so when you're in a hotel
Kinda
like
fun.
that and there's a bunch of stuff going
Yeah.
on and you can't leave the hotel, like just wandering around.
Just rip your pen in the hotel room and then go down and like walk around
and just wander
the
around
furry
and
convention.
and people watch. They had a what is it called? The LARPing. They had a
LARP, no way.
They had a LARPing
LARP?
live action role play. They had a LARPing like
You ever do that,
thing
mate?
You know the
in
movie.
the hotel
How-
one weekend.
You know the movie Role Models.
Is it
Yeah.
all role play live action?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
But I think you're role playing fake stuff.
That's a Shane Gillis.
All right.
He did the Shane Gillis. Shout out to our boy.
Cowboys 49ers.
Yeah, sure. I'm crying because I'm thinking about Shane Gillis
Hey, y'all are
doing
the
this.
only ones who can talk about late stuff. We played at Oregon in the year 2016, and kickoff was 10:30 p.m.
Oh my God.
I mean, a group of us just did parking lot laps to kill hours throughout that day, just walking slowly.
Was it as good as your BYU trip?
No, it was not.
Okay.
That was an all-timer.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
How many laps?
You know what? It's
Dude.
Friday. Let's get another LeBron Hennessy. You
won't
got
believe
some
it.
more LeBron Hennessy?
Hours?
Yeah. But at USC at night, at Oregon at night, at BYU
bro.
middle of the afternoon.
I'm gonna get drunk
at Boise
today.
at night.
Yeah.
Friday
remember
night
that.
was a win.
Yeah.
I'm getting drunk
I remember
today.
that game.
LeBron James.
There's like a 20-year anniversary of like a team that I was a swing player on, and by swing player I don't mean like I played guard and tackle. I played JV, and then they'd bring me up to stand on the sideline for the varsity games. We got a reunion for that team. today,
Nice.
so I'm gonna get drunk.
Yeah. You would have been 14 years old?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was standing. I was standing.
I was working the chain gang for those games.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Did you ever get hurt working the chain game? Like some of these old geezers? No offense. All right.
49ers Cowboys.
49ers Cowboys. I don't know.
49ers 5 points.
Y'all are lucky to have this game twice because these are legacy franchises right now getting the attention because of the star and the SF on the helmet. Now, I do think that one of these two teams could be a formidable foe for teams hoping to go to the playoffs if they slid in as a wild card or something like that. They could also win their division, and that's the San Francisco 49ers. Although I do think the lead is getting not insurmountable, but a couple games here and there. I mean, like without McCaffrey back, they could fumble the bag.
There's some others who are out as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, fuck yeah. Brandon Ayuk is down. The whole thing. So, I mean, Hargrave's been a huge loss for them. Can we keep it on the wide? I'm afraid people are going to see my balls and my khakis. Or the not on the wide. I'm sorry.
The other
tight,
one.
The
Yeah,
tight.
yeah.
The tight. Let's keep it on the wide. You know? So I think Monday, the key is with this game, would there be a more miserable place to be in the NFL universe than at the facility of the team that loses this game? On Monday, it's going to be like, it's going to be, and you know,
Sphincter Award.
oh my God,
That's
dude.
Sphincter Award territory.
Yeah, the buttholes are going to be, sorry, Nate, but the buttholes are going to be like this. They're going to be like this. The coaches are going to be doing this. The players are going to be doing this. And honestly, I think more so Dallas, the players doing this. But San Francisco, they're not used to this. They haven't done this in a couple years. They haven't done this, I feel like, since Jimmy G got hurt. And they went like what? They had a lottery pick. They ended up with Nick Bosa. But they don't do – you're not used to this. And I wonder what this does, you know, trying to keep this team together. I think this is a back against the wall. Whether you think it's fair or not, Brock Purdy is under siege from the media, from fans consistently. I like the guy. I think right now there's nobody to separate outside, especially with Ayuk down. It's going to get harder in the red zone. You know, George Kittle, I think, is still a demon with the ball in his hands, but like you do have to you don't really have a route running guy there that's going to just separate in that way, like traditionally. So Brock Purdy's going to have to find people, and I think more than anything, it's going to be about the chunks. The Ractory has shut down for San Francisco. I think this is really interesting. You know, it was just looking it up, but I was pretty damn sure that this was the case. Okay, in 2022 they were 5th in the league in yards after catch, run after catch. Okay, in 2023 they were 6th, and in 2024 they're 28th. So the catch and runs are not there. You know, last week they didn't have Debo. He had pneumonia.
Yeah.
No man separators, and I just think this is a big game for Brock Purdy, albeit against the Cowboys, for him to shut people down a little bit, get some haters off his back. You know, but you got to play better,
Is
right?
Micah playing?
You got to play better. Nolan, is Micah up? They were
Mike,
talking about a
yeah.
possible game time decision with Bland and Micah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what the word was this week. Game time decision. Neither have practiced yet this week.
Know what I'm excited for?
What?
When the Eagles and the Cowboys lose and Micah and Slay get on a podcast together and kiki it up.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Everybody wants to ask me the thing. Like, they're like, would you? I'm
Would
like,
you?
well, no, because it's 7 years later.
Yeah.
It's things are different now.
For sure.
You know, you got to play well if you're going to go on other people's podcasts.
You absolutely have to play
You got to play well if you got a podcast while you're playing. That's why
You
Jason
actually-
Kelsey's podcast works, because he's so fucking good.
Depending on your mental, you actually don't have to play well because that's what's driving the traffic.
No, I know,
Because-
but the fans.
yeah, the fans.
To me, but I'm saying as a fan, like, or as a player, as a teammate, you got to be playing well if you're going to be going on the Rivals podcast, in my opinion. But I come from a different era already.
Yeah.
It's already a different era. You know, there are things going on now that I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm old, bro.
No, I feel
But I'm not going to bury a guy for doing what other people are doing right now, as long as he plays hard and plays at a high level. You know, but that part, you know what I mean? Yeah. So McCarthy has been really good off a bye, 12-5. I think there's a lot of stuff here that lets you know this is going to be a game. But I think if San Francisco can press the edge and cut downhill for big chunks, it's going to be a chunky day for them. Chunky.
As the person who founded the Detroit Lions hangover bit, does this count as a Lions hangover because the Cowboys technically played the Lions last?
I think the Cowboys are just mid.
Word.
You know, I think this is like, to put it in terms that today's youth will understand, they are mid.
mid
You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
But like,
Do you think their receivers run better routes this game? You think they're pissed off
Troy
here
Aikman
and
was
that?
on their head, huh? The last 3 games, playing the San Francisco 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys offensive outputs 10, 12, 17 points, including the wild card and divisional round games. Dak is 57% completion, 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a 62.2 rating. It's a big yikes.
Big yikes.
Okay, so for a team that, you're going to have Bosa on Steele, I don't know that you're going to be able to take advantage of what is a relatively porous run defense for San Francisco. Again, Kansas City was just committed to it. Can Dallas commit to the run game? I don't think they will. And,
with who?
Well, I mean, fuck. Sometimes it's just the commitment. Really, it is.
I see what you. I know.
No, sometimes it's just the inconvenience. So you could say the same thing for Kansas City, like with who, you
gotta keep people honest.
You got to keep people honest.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Luckily, with the guys that San Francisco has down, I don't think you find yourself down 2-3 scores. But if the game gets that way, where it's San Francisco by 2 scores, like they're gonna abandon that shit because you can barely get yards on the ground anyway with the group of guys you have. So. And, hey, this isn't me, like, hating on Dallas. I'm just telling you what you are right now, and you know that. Even Dallas fans know that. You know what you are. You're mid. Mid team. You lose this game, they're cooked. Should we get the grill out?
Yeah, which would they be more cooked than
San Francisco?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
San Francisco got guys coming back, hopefully, at some point.
And
Christian
they got
McCaffrey, Debo. I don't know, man. Like,
they're going to just need an IV on the sideline for Debo because Debo could do everything. They can line Debo up everywhere and scheme him up, get him the matchups. But
I don't want to. I don't want to count the Niners out.
And the real reason is no one wants to count them out because before we know it, just like Puka popped up. Before we know it, CMC might pop up, and then it's a whole different ballgame.
No question.
Puka.
That's the whole thing.
Puka
we don't know. We don't know.
Puka
What's the next game there, Cowboy?
Bills Seahawks.
I'm excited about this damn game, man. I really dug into the Seahawks tape this week because I didn't get to it before the Monday show. And on that Monday show, if you're here on the Monday show, I'm not going to have watched every game front to back. So, there are times where you're going to be like, well, did you see the game? Well, no, I saw the game. Like, I watched it on the main TV, but then I didn't really see it. I didn't really do the all 22. And some of the questions I had about the Seahawks got answered looking at it. I was wondering how Michael Jarrell would play in his first start at right tackle. This guy's from a small school. He's Findlay. I never even heard of the place. No offense. Seemed like a guy who had an opportunity to transfer some other spots, get some NIL money, stayed, a la Quinyon Mitchell, who stayed at where was he? Toledo. Despite supposedly being able to get the bag at a whole bunch of places. Well, this guy was at a small school, Michael Jarrell. He's the 4th string tackle basically because they've had Abe Lucas hurt. George Fant hurt. Not for nothing. They're both coming back soon. They're designated off IR, back at practice. And then they also had Stone Forsythe hurt. So you're really talking about a 4th-string tackle here. And, it's the Falcons. And, it's a soft landing for a tackle. But I thought he did a really good job in his first start. He gave up a sack, but his feet got tied up. His foot got tied up on the guard and kind of got bowled over. I thought he played well, and I like the right guard, Christian Haynes. I know he's been rotating with Bradford, but for Seahawks fans, I don't know if you see this as well. I like Christian Haynes in there, and then whenever you can get your right tackle back, great. But this gives them a little bit more flexibility, seeing Michael Jarrell play and do a decent job last week. I wouldn't rush anybody back. I wouldn't rush anybody back. Again, Haynes has been rotating with Bradford. And one other thing, I don't know if Seahawks fans feel this way. Thank you, LeBron.
LeBron James.
But fuck was I going to say? Charles Cross, his anchor doesn't look very good right now. Ibakite was getting after his ass a little bit. So, there are, for the Bills, albeit on the road, they've got some matchups they might like. And DK Metcalf being down in that game. So he's got a grade 1 MCL. Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced yet this week.
He's not going to play, in my opinion.
Correct.
As a big guy. Now, there's good blood supply to this ligament making, as we all know, right? So it's a 1 to 2 week injury when you have a grade 1 MCL. And I think last week I was Googling seeing who's had it, receivers the last year. I think Brandon Cooks had one last year early in the season. And I think he might have missed the game as a result. Now, he's a little guy, right? You think about DK Metcalf, who generates a lot of force. Big dude. And by the way, they're playing on turf. That Seattle turf's tough. I just don't imagine him coming back this week and feeling good. You know, I think it's probably a week away for him.
Why not keep him on the roster and maybe just use him in the red zone? A few jump balls if he can't really open up stride.
I don't think it's the stride. I think it's the feeling of like planting. I think it's the feeling of cutting and planting and landing. Mm-hmm. So I would just rest him. And again, that's a big athlete, so it's hard to compare him to like Brandon Cooks or something like that. But Kenneth Walker, hats off to him. He had a little flu game last week. Your guy,
Best player in the league.
One of them. We like Kenneth Walker, man. We like him. And then when the Bills have the ball, I just can't wait to see how they ramp up this Amari Cooper thing. Because last week they kept him in the garage for most of the game. 30% of the snaps or so. You got a hit to him in the red zone. I think, and Nolan, maybe you can help me color this in, but the matchups and how Seattle chooses to deploy the matchups, because you got a size mismatch in Keon, right? You've got Cooper, who probably draws your number one, and then you have to decide whether Shakir, who's smaller and is going to play inside, draws your number 2 corner, or do you put that guy on Keon Coleman? It's a lot of decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of decisions, and Seattle's dealing with injuries in the secondary too. Reek Woolen is tracking to be back this week. He's practicing limited, but Trey Brown remains out. So, regardless of how they decide to dictate those matchups, they're going to have kind of a depth player in one of those situations.
Yeah, so the game's going to – a lot of it's going to hinge on how, that looks for the Seahawks secondary, and I thought they stood up last week. I will say this. The Seahawks went down to Atlanta to play a good football team, and that's the type of game that can turn your season around. You haven't beaten anybody. I know. Go ahead.
I don't know if Atlanta's –
We have both been towing the line on this. So, I'm trying to give Atlanta fans their due here. We think of Atlanta as a good football team, right? I still think the Bucs win the South, even down those 2 receivers.
Maybe they shouldn't have taken Penix at 8.
I don't know. I think in a year or two you're going to be happy you took Penix.
Okay.
So it really doesn't matter because you said it. They're not a good football team. So why even think about this year?
Well, in case they are good.
But
and then
turns out they're not. Turns out one more
then
player.
There's Jared Verse back there.
Yeah.
Doing some things.
I don't know if Jared Verse would be the guy to make that much of a difference, but I see what you're saying. I also think, whether the Penix move is a good move or not is all going to come down to how he is as a pro. If he's a good player, I don't think anybody's going to be saying, "Well, fuck, man, what we gave up a 2024 for a franchise quarterback." 24 we were pretty good. If we just had 2 more receivers, 4 more rushers, Kirk was 5 years younger.
Speaking of hoping, wishing they were younger, Michael Penix.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true as fuck, my guy.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
He's young.
Yep.
He's young compared to me, but he's not. He's not. Yeah.
Is Josh Allen going to throw an interception?
Probably.
He's due.
He's due, and it's going to be loud, and I think he's going to try to take some chances. I think he's going to take some shots.
Probably going to throw one, forcing it to Cooper.
No, if he can throw 11 without a pick, he becomes the first to join an elite group with no picks in the first 8 games with at least 200 attempts.
And ready? The haters are going to be sick.
Jason Campbell, Brian Hoyer, Bernie Kosar, and Alex Smith.
The haters are going to be sick.
Yep.
You join a list like that, the haters are all over you.
Jason Campbell.
But honestly, though, people are Josh Allen is, I don't know, some people just hate the guy. I will never hate Josh Allen. And the fact that he's thrown no picks, there's no, but, he's played pretty well. He has been more risk adverse than in the past. I mean, in the past, there were throws at times where I was just like, yeah, That's me, 1 a.m. playing Madden stoned.
He said it with us this summer. He's like, I'm trying to be more balanced.
And he is.
I want to be Josh, the roller coaster sometimes, but I'm trying to find the right balance.
What that is age and wisdom. Mm-hmm. What I realized, the older you get, is you could never, you're never going to wake up that one day and be wise. You got to go through it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think for Josh, it's just taking time for him to figure out, and also being with a good coordinator in Joe Brady, and going through that thing last year. We talked about this a lot. The fact that the Bills went through their big change, their big come to Jesus moment in the middle of last season, stuck the landing on that. We're this close to beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. They come out this year and they're rolling. Well, a lot of teams in the early half of the season have been figuring things out. And I think they were able to add a wide receiver at the deadline that people weren't talking about as much, the guy in New York, but is going to pay more dividends.
Yep.
I mean, that's going to be a more, the Cooper and the Hopkins trade, which we haven't even talked about on this particular show, are going to be way more impactful than the one in New York. The one in New York is going to be impactful in a different way. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be a story. So, what's the last breakdown game? I feel like we have one more. Bears Commies.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Hopefully, well, do you want this to be a rookie, or should the Commanders play it safe with Jayden?
These two teams, they're just always up to something. Last time they played, it was a death game. Mm-hmm. It was the Buccaneers death game, which, hey, as an aside, never fade a death game like that.
Correct.
So, and now you've got the would-be rookie bowl that probably never happens. And I say probably never happens. I don't know for sure. I think Jayden Daniels, I'm not in that building. There's no amount of, insider information or knowledge. Like, I'm guessing. He's got a rib injury.
Mm-hmm. And we'll probably know at 12:30 when Dan Quinn has his media availability.
Yeah, so we don't know right now. But I do think it's important to note that the owner is a basketball guy. The owner is he's Josh Harris. Okay, he's trust the process. He's a load management guy. You really think he's going to play hero ball with the future of the franchise if he's not right? Now, if he's right, he'll play. But if he's not right, you think Josh Harris is going to trot him out there to play hero ball with the future of the franchise to win a rookie bowl? That means nothing. I mean, the NFL is probably praying they trot Jayden Daniels out there. But guess what? The people in Washington, they can make their own decisions. I mean, this is about the long game, not this weekend beating the Bears. Can you imagine, on the other hand, waking up 6-2 as a Commanders fan? This podcast, we had the Bears, and honestly, when I picked them, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but the Bears in the wild card, I never would have guessed the Commanders would be here. I never would have guessed the Commanders would have been here. So this is awesome. I just didn't think the roster was where it is. I didn't think Cliff would be as good as he is.
Dan Quinn.
I didn't think Dan Quinn would be able to get this thing going this quickly.
Coach of the Year favorite.
Yeah.
And he should be.
And it's going because you see how Mariota just stepped in and he really held the fort down. Like, not saying he's Jayden Daniels, but that offense didn't skip a beat. Like,
That's right.
It didn't seem like, we have
was
to
the
take
Panthers,
this.
but yeah, I agree.
But still,
I'm not
you
clowning
know
on
how it is. Like, we don't have to take this package out and switch it up because we have a different quarterback in now. We're running the same thing. You guys are just hearing a different voice. But other than that, it's back to business. And the fact that you can do that, and we see it so many times with good teams, as soon as their quarterback goes down, it's like,
with good teams.
Shit. It's like, oh, shit. And the fact that didn't happen, I hope that's enough, like we're talking about now. Even if Jayden Daniels says he's ready to play, sit that kid.
Well,
sit him.
What's really important about this is, like, if he is sitting, it wasn't like he had a quarter of work the other day. It wasn't like he had a half. I mean, he got a full day's work, a full day at the office for Marcus Mariota, who you have to remember.
A lot to play for.
You have to remember, okay? You see all these damn high draft picks. In the right situation, something can work for them, right? They weren't high draft picks for nothing, okay? So I'm not making him a world beater, and I'm certainly not making the Panthers a steel curtain defense. But what I am saying is this was a full day's work for a guy who has talent and has probably, you could argue, not been in an offense before that was schematically humming like this one.
Yeah.
And I think Cliff's doing a great job.
And
And
extra motivation. How many guys are playing knowing that if I get a win, extra $200K
yeah, that's great.
every single time. If I'm starting,
That's great.
extra $200K. That's like a nice little extra motivation too.
Does this factor into your decision if you're the Commanders, the
Brandon
Eagles,
Coleman.
the Eagles having the Bengals, not an easy game, and the Cowboys having the 49ers? Even if you lose, there's a
I don't
solid
think
chance.
they think like that, but
Yeah.
if fans were making a decision, if I were making a decision, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think more than anything, it's about keeping this kid healthy because at 5-2, atop the division, like you really have a chance. And if you think you can beat the Eagles, you get them twice.
Right.
You know, if you think you can beat the Cowboys, you get them twice. The other team, but
Let me talk to you about check down Caleb.
yeah, talk to me about him.
First 3 weeks, 6th in air yards, forcing it a bit. Last 3 weeks, 34th, and they're humming.
That's exactly right. And that's the whole thing. If they can just take the checkdowns, hit the middle of the field stuff, you know, and to me, this isn't a backhanded compliment. I know sometimes checkdown is like a super negative thing, but, you know, not all checkdowns are the same. You know, you can check the ball down into flat. You can take off running on third down, you know, if you don't see somebody open. But you can also work the short to intermediate area of the field in the middle, which is a challenge. And I think the way he throws with anticipation in the underneath zones is really encouraging for me if I'm a Bears fan. I saw somebody this week say that Caleb's got more arm talent than Jayden. Oh, I disagree. Okay. Because arm talent is not just – it's different kind of arm talent too. I think if Caleb is like, man, that's a rifle rolling right. That's a rifle kind of on the move, off platform, underneath, okay, the intermediate stuff. But so far what we've seen with Jayden Daniels is the precision, you know, the precision. It's like I don't
Stafford.
Yeah, the deep ball precision is just impressive. I didn't want to fumble over a bad metaphor, but it's pretty great. So both these guys have shown some really good things in their own right. I hope we see them both, but if we don't, I'll understand why. There's got to prove it, right? Rams, Panthers, Jaguars, that's what the haters are saying. I didn't say it. The haters are saying that. They're saying the haters and the losers are saying you have to prove it. Okay? I think they do prove it. I think they have an opportunity to prove it. If Jayden Daniels is down for sure, I think this is going to be a good day for them. Hard to man up against these guys, and that's the key. You got the triplets back. You know, how's Dan Quinn versus rookie QBs? That's one question that I have here. I don't know if somebody in the chat can crunch those numbers while we talk about this, but like, how's Dan Quinn been against rookie QBs? I'm going to be really interested to see how he matches up. And with Allen going down, the run game could be an issue as well. But I just want to close with this Walter Payton story on this breakdown. Yesterday, Jeff Fisher called me like 3, and he's like, yo, can you come on my radio show? I'm like, yeah, anytime. When? He's like, yeah, like an hour. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. You let me sleep in. You used to let me sleep in as a pro. Like, yeah, anytime, coach. I love you. So I came on his radio show, and he told me a story about Walter Payton. He said when Fish played with Payton, Payton
Manning.
Peyton
I can't get that out of my damn head.
No.
Me either. I love it.
It's a very effective
I'm Peyton Manning.
Payton.
Nice Peyton.
Peyton.
Okay.
Peyton.
So when he played with Payton, Walter Payton, you know, Fish went to the equipment guy to get some insoles for his cleats, like to basically make his cleats a little softer. And back in the day, those cleats were rough. So he went to the equipment manager, and Jeff Fisher on the radio told the story, and it goes like this. He said, "You pussy." I'm like, oh, what kind of radio station is this? And he goes, I took him over to Walter Payton's locker. The equipment manager takes Jeff Fisher over to Walter Payton's locker. And he's like, put your hand in these cleats. And in Walter Payton's cleat, by the way, size 8 shoe.
Wow.
Is there a fighter jet above us?
Overhead. Yeah.
Are we in trouble?
They're going right down Water Street here.
They're just going down water.
Yeah.
It's just going to nuke the studio. And then take credit for the Detroit hangover. The U.S. military is going to hold a press conference and be like, "We figured out this theory."
Breaking from Adam Schefter.
So pardon my take. So anyways, so he reaches in Walter Payton's shoe, and it's size 8, which is crazy to me. No offense to any of the bros in the chat with the size 8 slipper. Finally, a saving grace for you is you can say Walter Payton and me have the same size shoe. Okay? But he reaches in the cleat, and he goes, feel that. Walter had ripped out everything he could. He'd ripped out the insole, everything, because he wanted to feel every single 7-stud spike on his foot.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
For somebody
Crazy.
like, you know what I mean? 7 studs are tough on your feet, bro. Like, you feel every cleat as it is. He was trying to feel every groove
That sounds like those old. You ever had those flip flops, the Adidas with the spikes at the bottom? Yeah. And like when you first put them on, like it hurt so much, but once they grind down a little bit, it's like a massage on your feet. I wonder if it's like that.
Can you imagine though wanting to feel every guys like that are just different. Like some of the Hall of Famers I hear stories about. It's just like you can't be normal. Like you're just not normal, dude.
It got to be something like some type of like acupuncture thing. Like maybe it's like triggering other things.
But do that. Pull the insole out of your old 7-stud cleats. And I'm not talking about moldeds. I'm talking about 7 studs. And not our 7 studs like metal, I think, back in the day. I think they were like metal cleats.
Yeah.
Crazy. Somebody asked me the other day, what was it like back in my day playing in Oakland when they had the baseball field?
Yeah.
Did you ever play on the baseball? Did you ever play on a baseball field?
I think so. Against the 49ers.
It was just out there, bro. Like there was just dirt out there.
You're just
like,
praying you don't have to make a tackle on that shit.
Oh, you do. And every time you look right down at your arm and you're bleeding, and there's like fucking somebody's sunflower seed from the game the other night, like in your open wound.
Oh my god.
It's like. So, anyways, Bears commies should be a good game. Either way, looking forward to it.
I'm through.
Don't play 'em.
I'm through week 13 of the Atlanta Falcons 2016 season.
Yeah.
And Dan Quinn is 2-1 against rookie quarterback.
Oh,
Okay.
He beat.
That's a fucking
he
trend.
posted.
Yeah.
That's a trend. Hey, in a month.
The only one he lost to was Carson Wentz.
Oh. I remember that game too. No, I don't remember that
you were
game.
on the
I wasn't on the team. No, but I do remember that
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I watched that game. That was the game I watched. What was it, 15-10 or something?
Yeah, it was, I think, 24. Hold on.
Just low scoring.
Have to go back.
But this was in Philly. This is the game I watched.
In Philly, 24-15.
This is the game that convinced me to be an Eagle. Watching, I'm sitting
Really?
up there. Swear to God, I'm sitting up there, not in the moment because I'm getting ready for the Super Bowl. It's 2 nights before the Super Bowl. I'm watching it like 9 o'clock, watching the game. I'm watching cut-ups, and I'm watching the Eagles pass rush, and I'm like, damn, that looks fun. In my little brain, I guess I put that in my memory banks because as soon as free agency hit, I was like, oh, I remember that night at the Hyatt, at the Houston Hyatt, where Jim Schwartz came up, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, "Are you ready to play?" And I said, "Oh no, it was actually Matt Patricia." But that's how much of an Eagle I was already. I thought it was Jim Schwartz. Okay, so one thing games, is that what we're on to?
games. Packers Jaguars. Cool to start there.
Sure, why not?
Jaguars getting 4 points. What are one things for these games?
Ooh, I think there's 2 matchups for the. I think there's 2 matchups. 1 thing, 2 matchups. Darnell Savage, former Packer in the slot. Jayden Reed, you can get him on Darnell Savage. And then Darby outside has given up a lot of yardage. So I just look at the pass game and all the explosives that Jacksonville is accustomed to giving up and all the explosives that Green Bay is accustomed to getting. I also do think there's a universe where this is a tighter ball game. Like Vegas thinks so.
Yeah.
I think there's reason to believe the Jaguars, who, like, let's not forget, when you really talk it out, the Jags are not getting pressured like that. Like, the offensive line is doing a decent job, right? Like, they have one of the highest time to pressures. That's a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got an electric rookie in Brian Thomas Jr. They have Evan Ingram, your boy, who's played well. They've got a couple running backs now. Tank Bigsby, I think, is one of the the toughest tackles in the league, and a quarterback who's played better as of late the last couple weeks. So this is a game, if you're the Packers coming off last week, which is a big emotional victory, where you just don't want to let down.
And guess what's next week?
What's next week?
The Detroit Lions. So it's a little Jaguar sandwich.
You got a
here.
sandwich here, dude.
You got a letdown sandwich.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Watch out.
Yeah, big watch out, bro. Big watch out. So, also Devontae Wyatt's back to practice. So that's a big deal. Some good tight ends in this game, National Tight End Day.
I saw, have you seen the meme
If you
where
celebrate that.
where it's like, there's a woman in an office cubicle and there's this hot guy coming and talking to her and it's a cartoon. And usually like the guy has some like weird, it has some,
That's relatable as fuck.
yeah, has like stats on him. And then there's a big fat guy
Okay.
comes through and he has a very similar stat track.
Yeah.
And so the first guy was, forget who it was, like Kyler Murray or something, and the woman was like, "Oh, you're so cute."
Yeah.
And then the fat, unattractive was the same stats, but it was Trevor Lawrence, and the woman was like,
That's
"HR."
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh my
though.
God.
People have
Yeah.
kind of moved on from Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And I did that years ago, but he no, I honestly I just don't know. I didn't think you had to pay him. But he actually, when he's on, he looks very good. It's just either he has these lapses or I don't know what they are, but when he is on, and
He's
this
got to
is one of the
start playing
weekends,
Settlers of Catan like Josh Allen did.
yeah, dude,
That's what flipped the switch
That's
for
gonna
Josh.
free your mind.
Obviously, it's freed up.
Settlers of Catan. Also, the guy who made that shit up lives in this town.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I want to bring up, Packers Jags, Saleh is a defensive perspective consultant for the offense.
Smart. Love it.
It's smart, and part of me was like, is this a Fox in the hen house kind of thing? Because eventually he's going to get another head coach job or a defensive coordinator. But that's how it is anyways. Like Halfley could get a job at some point. But I mean, this is a very intimate sharing of details of your offense with Robert Saleh, who you count as one of the best. And maybe they know Halfley might get a job soon, and maybe he wants to come back and
Just
work.
get ahead of it. Do you think though, because LaFleur and Saleh are best friends, do you think they talk about stuff anyway? Like, do you think he already knew some of this?
No,
stuff,
I just want to say something. I don't think Halfley's getting a job next year. I'm just saying, like, I'm just scatter shooting. But what do you say?
Like, because LaFleur and Saleh have a relationship prior.
Yes.
Do you think they probably already like he might already have?
He knows
some knowledge
a lot.
of-
I'm
yeah.
not saying that this is really a
Right,
Fox
right.
in the hen house thing. When I first read it, I was like, but this shit happens all the time, and it happens all the time naturally, where like you guys get promoted and they go elsewhere.
Yeah, I think from the Packers' perspective, it's like a coaching staff equivalent of a burn the ships move.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we're going to get as many talented minds in this building as we can as we kind of make the push here.
And Vrabel's doing it in Cleveland.
Yep.
This happens. And I think it's a good thing, especially to have another head coach in the building, another defensive mind. I'm really happy for him because that did not look fun going to the grocery store in New York getting followed by TMZ. That's not going to happen in Appleton.
Well, and with 7 or 8 kids at home,
Yeah, that sucks.
This is a long
they're
trip.
staying behind in New Jersey. Robert's got a few months off from.
Just a whole bunch of time off,
Yes.
which is good to clear your head. And so I think it's going to be a damn good game. I really do. I at least fun. I'm not saying it's going to be down to the wire, but
This might be a stretch. You just said time off for Robert Saleh. He got fired, so does that count as time off for bad behavior?
yeah,
David Allen Coe song?
yeah,
kind
that's
of?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. That's
Good
good.
I don't want to no disrespect to
No,
Robert Saleh.
no.
We know it wasn't your fault.
No, time off for bad behavior.
Yeah.
Bad Robert Saleh. Your offense sucked. Bad boy. My friend didn't get any better at coaching magically. Bad boy. Don't even get me started.
Cardinals, Dolphins. Dolphins 4.5-point favorites. As we believe Tua will play this game, right?
Tua's playing. They said Tua came back in the huddle and Tyreek was crying because he's got one tud since and like 140 yards since Tua's been out, and I think he's going to play well. I do. If he's healthy, this is the kind of game the Dolphins they score 30 points.
This reminds me of Matt Kingston as I think
Oh, fuck off.
any game. Oh no! I believe you told me I was the only one rooting for you on Monday night.
There were a lot of people rooting for me.
You told me.
Oh, come on. Save it for the Saints-Chargers breakdown, but go ahead.
Chargers.
No, yeah,
Cardinals, Chargers, I'm going to think of Kingston.
Yeah.
I'm also going to think of what seems to be a relative lack of chemistry between Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. at this point in the season.
Yeah. It's funny the wave of emotions we're riding with Marvin Harrison Jr. At first, they were like, he only runs 16 miles an hour. And then they were like, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And then I read last week that should we be having a conversation about Marvin Harrison Jr.? I'm like, bro, it ain't Halloween. Like, it ain't fucking Halloween. Okay?
43 yards a game.
So give it a chance. And I think it's a great runway game for Tua because this defense not going to rush this dude. I mean, he's just not. And Gardeck tore his ACL, condolences to Gardeck, bro. Like, that was – what a run you were on. I mean, I got a lot of respect for that dude. A ton of respect for that dude. He plays his ass off. Tore his ACL, so that's a big loss for a defense that really wasn't. But Miami, I think the one damning thing about this whole thing is like Tua can come back and the whole thing, but he could leave a game again at some point this year. I hope it's not for the same reason. He could get hurt at some point. He could get dinged. You're not that good anyways as a team right now. And then when the quarterback gets hurt, to see what I saw over the last few weeks, Tua out of the building, Tyreek crying when he comes back in the building. That's not a good thing, dude. Like the Bengals, Jamar Chase still got the ball last year. Justin Jefferson still got the ball last year in Minnesota. I think it didn't matter who was throwing the ball.
Amari Cooper got the ball even more.
Amari Cooper got the ball even more. Most beautiful game of catch of all time. You still working on that hen dog?
Hen dog.
Look at that. LeBron James.
LeBron James.
So, I just look at it and I say, like, Miami's got to be better if they end up in this situation again, and they need to address this backup quarterback deal. And Mike's got to do a better job if he ends up in that situation again. But, I thought
just like the NFL wants to see Jayden Daniels out there, there's no way they want to see Tua out there.
I think everybody's holding their breath a little bit, man. And I just hope he's okay because when that happened.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So, like, I was just thinking about this. Like, if he's going to wear – also, like, is he going to wear that Guardian cap?
No.
He's not.
He decided not to in an act of defiance.
Definitively no.
I think that's actually a good thing for the NFL and for the Guardian cap because, realistically, all of his results, anything happens, are skewed.
Yeah.
Are totally skewed. So if he does wear that Guardian cap and he gets tapped.
Yeah, people are going to be like, see, the Guardian cap doesn't work.
And like
nah.
And honestly, like whoever.
It's bruh's melon, dude.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, yo, if you get your bell rung
if you're
so many times.
getting your bell rung.
Like a feather could hit you in the head and it might trigger something.
A feather.
Like, bro, like we don't know.
What you're saying,
like, you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
It's one of those things. It might not look like a
like the Forrest Gump feather just knocking dudes out.
This.
No, but honestly, it's just it's one of those things where I hope we don't see that again. I just hope we don't see that again. And Tua at the podium sounds very secure and confident in the fact that he's going to be okay and it's a game and all this stuff. And you have to remember, we are in an age of hysteria about this thing, and a lot of it is founded. Like, obviously, we need to protect ourselves. We need to protect the players. We need to be cognizant of the fact that this is a sport that can shorten your lifespan and, can significantly alter your brain chemistry. But there's a whole generation of guys that dealt with much worse than what Tua's dealt with the head trauma and the concussions. And I'm not saying that justifies it, but he's probably thinking, bro, this is the sport I play. This is what I grew up playing. There was, the guys I grew up watching, this wasn't an issue. And I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's a different mentality. And that's like, as a player, I understand. Even though I would say if I knew Tua personally, I'd be like, bro, be careful. Just be careful. But it seems like he's going the other way where it's like, hey, I feel confidence. The doctors cleared me. I'm going to play the game that I love and the game that's given me so much. And, although I think I don't want to say unwise. I also don't know what's going on in those conversations with the doctors. So I'm going to trust that. And then Jordan Brooks, listed as a guy in my breakdown that's like maybe athletic enough to spy Kyler, but I don't think it's really a spy type deal. Nolan made a good point. Kyler's, he's going to hurt you back there behind the line of scrimmage. He's not necessarily always trying to take off and run. Like, you can spy him, but I don't know that Jordan Brooks is going to be the answer. Zach Sealer's got an eye issue. Is that pink eye? Seriously.
Probably not.
Okay. He's got an eye issue. That'd be big if he weren't in the game for Arizona. James Conner's been a workhorse. He had half their yards the other night. Harrison, as you mentioned, on Jalen Ramsey. That's going to be fun. And Clayton Tune, man, you got to be better. I don't know if anybody saw this. I think the whole game comes down to Clayton Tune. If you're going to be the designated sneak guy, you can't go 0-for-2. They ran him out there. They changed the quarterback to do a sneak twice, stuffed him twice. Come on, Clayton Tune. And for the Cardinals, they are looking at an opportunity to be 4-3. And it's crazy in this division. Mm-hmm. Would that put them in first? Some people get mad at me because I don't know records and I don't know standings because it doesn't fucking matter. It's October.
Seahawks are 4-3 with Buffalo in town.
Let's say Seahawks lose.
They would be tied for first.
Cardinals
looking to go to 4-4. They're 3-4 currently.
Oh, 3-4. So they got a chance to go 4-4 and then tie with the Seahawks.
Yep.
So there you go. I mean, like you could wake up on top of the NFC West with Seattle, just like everybody drew it up, right?
Nate, Jalen Waddle, no touchdowns so far this year. Tua is coming back. Is he on your short list for anytime touchdowns on Sunday?
Waddle, I've been burned by him a few times this year already, and I don't know. I think I would stay away from that game. Even though I do feel like they're going to score points, I would more lean toward Achane. Just because, I don't know. I think Mike McDaniels is someone that they're just going to, like, it's no ripping the Band-Aid off for Tua. They're going to let that thing go.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, Tyreek is ready. You think?
Oh, I think he's going to take it easy.
Oh,
I think he's going to run the ball. I think he said that.
Okay.
Because I thought the same thing as you.
Yeah.
And then last night I was reading some of his quotes. Yeah. And it sounds like he's saying out loud that, like,
I think that's gamemanship. I think
you
they're
think
saying
they're just
that.
Gonna rip it.
I think probably like the first drive, like Tyreek's gonna be like, "Yo, I'm going on a go ball."
I think he's talking about the playbook in its entirety, and like we're not gonna pull out all the stops. But
that's what I was saying. I wouldn't do Waddle. I would be more inclined to bet like Moisture or Achane.
I love that. You just made his name Moisture. Over the years, I would give Tyreek the ball so he stops crying.
Yeah, for sure. Give him a sweep. Let him sweep and do all that.
Keep the little guy happy.
That's it. But it's funny. This will be a funny game. You know who's probably going to score? Someone like Berrios. That's who'll score this game.
Do you remember we met Tyreek at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and
he just looked at me. He looked at me and did the like rolled shoulder. He's like, "Do you think I could tackle you?" Right. It's like, what? Bro, he is out of control, dude. I was like, hey, congrats on a good year. Like, you played with my brother Kyle, and he's like,
little ball of muscle, yo.
He followed me as a boy. I'm like, take it easy, bro. What's next?
Berrios is out for the season.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. He's on IR.
My bad, Berrios.
He's on IR.
Get him next
However, the fourth receiver for the Dolphins
is who?
Malik Washington.
Oh, wahoo wah. Let's have a big day.
Wow, let's do it.
Malik. Let's go.
He got a couple shots last week. I think he had 3 or 4 catches.
Well, we've seen him get some action, but this could be a big day.
Could be a day. Next game, Titans at Lions. That line, 11.5 points.
This is a battle of wills for the guys up front in Tennessee. You're selling the whole team. You know Detroit wants to come in and choke you out. Honestly, you think you're pretty good at stopping the run, and I would liken it to like walking into a bar and making eye contact with the wrong guy. Like, did Denard Wilson just make eye contact with Dan Campbell? Do you think you can stop the run? I didn't say that. Oh, you guys think you can stop the run? Get him, Ben. 40 times, dude. That's honestly what
Run it with Ragnow.
That's honestly what I liken it to, is like making eye contact with who's the dead man that hit me with the salt shaker?
Yeah.
Like y'all stop the run. Oh, we're gonna run the ball. We are gonna run the ball. But if the corners and those guys are still out for Tennessee, it's a non-issue. It's whatever you want, and that's why the line's so big. I think the real conversation in this game is who's for sale for the Titans. Is Landry available? It sounds like he is. Or who's available in the yard sale for the Titans? One guy might end up in Detroit. Like honestly, I look at Landry as the type of guy that could end up in Detroit.
Scouting trip for the Lions.
Scouting trip. You know, we also have talked a lot about Trayvon Walker. I love Trayvon Walker for the Lions. But let me pitch you somebody else. Okay? Walker, you're gonna have to pay him soon. He's earned it. Right? Like, can't take anything away from the guy. You can talk all you want about, like, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, but his production is going to get him paid. So you're going to have to pay him. If you make a move for him, you know, Harold Landry is another guy that I like, but I think this room could use somebody cheap, somebody who knows how to rush, somebody who's a veteran, somebody who can rush inside and out, because Aiden Hutchinson used to do that as well. Does anybody have any guesses who I'm talking about? He might be somewhere where he would badly want to get out of.
Sebastian Joseph Day.
That's good. Zadarius Smith. When I watch Zadarius Smith right now, I think, and judging by the reaction, I think y'all like it, but Zadarius Smith is 32 years old, and he does not look 32 years old. He's got some pep in his step. He looks light to me. Like, he does, and he rushes inside, outside. Guy you can move up and down the line. And I think, like, for a group in Detroit that could use a veteran, Carlton Davis is 27, Anzalone's 30, DJ Reader's 32. He'd be your most senior guy that I know of that would get real snaps, and a guy who really knows how to rush. And I've never heard a bad thing about him. I really haven't.
16 pressures and 4 sacks in the season for Big Z.
And he's playing well, dude. He's playing well. This is a good year for anybody, let alone a guy in his 30s he's going to cost you. I mean, right now he's on a deal that's like $1.5 million. Okay, you know. So, I think Big Z would be a nice option to look at if you're the Lions, and I think that's going to be the key. Is like, let's start to figure out. They blitzed a lot last week. I'm sure they could do it again. I'm sure they could sit back and play coverage against this group, who just sold DeAndre Hopkins, who hasn't been able to get the ball to Calvin Ridley, who can't protect. But when you get down the line, you're going to need to win rushes. You can't just blitz everybody.
Kai in the chat asked a great question, and one that I've been wondering myself. Whatever happened to Unique Ngakoue? Like, he doesn't come up on any of these.
He's on the Ravens.
He's a Baltimore Raven.
Oh,
and he got some. It's a great question, Kai, because I always think Unique is that guy that, like, you're like, did he punch a baby?
That was the quietest acquisition.
Well, the Ravens have been doing this thing where they'll sign a guy, you know, like, and he had a sack the other day, I think. Like, Ngakoue is a legit rusher, bona fide rusher. So, I think Ngakoue is going to pay dividends for them, and I think Zadarius Smith is a no-brainer. Brad Holmes, my guy, love him, stamped. Go get him.
Bang. Falcons at Buccaneers. Buccaneers getting 2.5 points. Do the injuries the Buccaneers have kind of had to deal with from their Monday night win, is that going to really, or do they have the players that can step up? Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan?
I think it matters in a big way. I think, like, the other night, once those two guys got hurt, once Mike Evans got hurt, it felt like something bad happened. Like, something bad did happen, but it felt like the whole team was just like, oh, you know, it felt like a momentum killer for them in general. And in the red zone, out on the field, like, between the 20s, it hurts not to have Mike Evans. Then you lose Godwin. Now the passing game is going to be a little bit disjointed for a little bit. So you got to lean on that three-headed monster, if that's what you want to call it. All of a sudden, you got a ton of running backs. You ran for 2-something the other day against the Saints. They've given up a ton of yardage on the ground. But I look at this game, and the main issue is going to be when they played a couple weeks ago, Kirk Cousins accessed the middle of the field. It was wide open. Winfield wasn't up. He's back now. That's going to be the big thing. Can you get the run game going, and can you close the middle of the field? Cousins, doesn't look young. You know what I'm saying? Can you hit him? Can you land on him? Like, how's Vita Vea landing on Kirk Cousins sound? If you're a Bucs fan, I just don't think he looks. As the year goes on, seeing Kirk Cousins move and throw the ball, it's going to be interesting to see if he gets better or worse physically. Right now, he kind of looks on the edge to me. This would be it is a huge game, but it would be like a huge game if wide receivers were up. Right now, it just feels like it put a damper on the whole thing.
Let me tell you who's going to fill that void.
Tell me.
His name's Sterling Shepard. Baker trusts him. He's in that intermediate sort of spot over the field. Kate Otten's operating in there too. And you mentioned the back. Sean Tucker, Syracuse, with Bucky and Rashad White. I think the Bucs are going to remain plucky here. I like them at home.
Truth Bearer is pretty sure the Falcons all day and that the Bucs are cooked. So
disagree.
We'll get the grill out for the Bucs if they are cooked, but I don't think they're cooked. Truth Bearer, I think honestly, the strength of that football team is in its entirety. I mean, like they really do have a lot of quality players, and
Coach of the Year Todd Bowles.
Coach of the Year Todd Bowles.
Falcons are 26th in run defense success rate. Bucs run that ball.
Got to run the ball.
Another
Falcons defense. You want to talk about like cooked? Like the Falcons defense is like
cooked.
I'm not saying the defense as a whole, but I'm talking about the rush. Like, if you can't rush the passer, I don't know. Name the last Super Bowl team that couldn't rush the passer.
Well, name the last time the Falcons have been successful rushing. Hadn't this been an issue for?
It's been an issue since I can remember the last guy that
probably
really
the
went
last
off for them was the Grady Jarrett days.
Yeah.
But it was also the guy from Clemson who had 14.5 one year and then just kind of went away. Went to Tennessee and the whole thing. I'm just forgetting his damn name, which is I don't mean to be disrespectful.
Say it again. Went to Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, from the from the
Vic Beasley.
Vic Beasley.
Yeah,
he had 14.5 one year, and he was 44 for the Falcons. Played in that Super Bowl we played against them in. Anyways,
sack leaders for the Falcons this year. It's week 8, 1.5. Judon and Jarrett both have 1.5.
It's not good.
Leads the team.
It's also, hey, Gerard Mayo's taking a lot of shit right now. Making that trade was a good move.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
We got Ravens at Browns.
Ooh.
8.5 points. Getting 8.5 points are the Browns.
Hey, this is your week, Nate.
This is it. This is it. I mean, it's Jameis time. You got Nick Chubb. He got his game under his belt coming back, who also has a great value at comeback player of the year plus 900 if you want to feel spicy, feel good story. But also, too, he's a great back. And that offense, believe it or not, is not trash. Like, and I think they can do some stuff with Jameis in there.
Can you cover your ears real quick?
Yeah.
No, you got to take the things out.
Oh.
See, we do a gambling show after this, and we're supposed to compete against each other.
That drops Saturday at 10 in the morning.
I want to whisper something to you guys in the studio, making this acting like you can't hear. But over the last 7 matchups between Baltimore and Cleveland, the Browns have lost by double digits just once. And the line is 9.5.
You do a great, like the police caller.
Oh, yeah.
With it, you do a great.
No, I know.
That was very much a police
Yeah.
like distorting the voice. That was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Oh, we got 10-27. Oh.
Don't do it.
Why?
Don't do it.
What?
What are they going to do?
We got a 6'2" black male.
No, I didn't say that. No. Are you 6'2"?
Yes.
Copy that. We got a 6'2" black male. He's got an erection. He's watching the Steelers defense out in the middle of the street. We got a 6'2" black male. He's out in the road, hands and knees, unpacking Pokemon cards. Send back up.
All right, you can take your.
Oh my God. Oh my god.
Y'all look like y'all were having a lot of fun.
It wasn't at your expense. It just kind of snowballed. It snowballed. Oh.
It got hot in here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So would you mind taking your sunglasses off? Anything in the car we should know about?
Oh my god.
The game.
Oh, how about Le'Veon Bell?
Nice hat, Le'Veon. You can just keep going.
No way that happened. Oh my god.
Oh fuck. Oh.
Any lean on the game on this one?
I'm not telling you.
Isn't that why
We got this
you're
gambling show. But I will tell you, it's gaslighting. Nolan put it this way last night. It's gaslighting, and that's a word that resonates with me because there's just too much of it in society. But like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's rain, Cleveland. Like you're tanking now. You're tanking. Which
Yeah?
yeah.
Not
Why let Ken Dorsey take over the play calling? Like Kevin Stefanski is a bona fide damn good play caller. They handcuff him with Deshaun. They say, hey, Deshaun, we're going to run your offense. Then Deshaun gets benched, and then they're like, hey, Ken Dorsey, you're the guy now calling the plays. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me.
A lot of things don't make sense.
It also, it also makes me think that the owners are like, fuck that. You're not going to call good plays. We're going to fire you later this season. You're not going to make Jameis look good. We're going to hit the reset button and blame you for everything that just happened. We're not going to let Kevin Stefanski show people how bad Deshaun Watson is right now.
But little do they know, Jameis is built for this. So he's going to play well.
I hope so.
He's going to play like Jameis regardless, which is throwing bombs. He's going to throw some picks, but he's going to throw some touchdowns. That's all we can ask for.
I'm still thinking about talking like
Being
an officer.
being on the dispatcher.
Yeah. Never mind. Okay. We'll go next. We'll go to the next game.
Next game, we've got Colts at Texans. Texans giving 5 points. And I think this was week 1. The Colts pulled off the upset.
Indianapolis Colts 6-1 against the spread.
Yeah, that's something I did notice. And it's shocking.
Colts win this game. They're tied for first in AFC South.
And the Colts are down, and the Texans are down the Colts killer. Dude, the last 3 games, Nico Collins, 22 receptions for 458 yards against his team.
Nico!
Like, that's crazy. What did the Colts do to him, bro?
Man.
Like, honestly, and he's not out there. So,
Counterpoint. Anthony Richardson may be who we thought he was at Florida, who was not great.
Joe Flacco needs to be starting right now. And that's not to say that Anthony Richardson can't be the guy for eons to come. But right now, the team that gives you the best chance to win is quarterbacked by Joe Flacco. And that's not it's not like we're saying trot out Clayton Tune or trot out Nathan Peterman. We're saying trot out a guy who's won a Super Bowl before and still throwing the ball around the yard. Like, if you're not going to use him, then fucking trade him, for God's sakes. Let Joe Flacco go play for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, what you're telling me is it's not really about trying to win games. I mean, I know you're trying to win games. I know you're trying to slide in the wild card. I know you're trying to win that division. But I will tell you, Joe Flacco gives you a better chance. I think most people have come around to this idea right now, just in this moment, that he gives you a better chance to win games. So for Joe's sake, who's 62 years old and has fucking arthritis, let him go play football for somebody. You know what I'm saying? There are teams out there that could use him. A couple of them, maybe.
Saints.
The Raiders.
But they can't. That'll be stupid. They don't, because, like, it's evident they don't. It's evident that they don't trust Richardson that much. So, like, why would they get rid of Flacco? Like, what are they going to get? Like,
well, that's my point. Is like, if
I hear you, like,
but my point is, like, why not then? If you're not going to get rid of him, then just start him. Start him. See how far he can take you.
Yeah.
And if it dries up, then at least Anthony's had a few weeks to like work on his game. it's really hard to work on your game out on the field. Like that, you have to have reps for sure, but you also have to have time to break it down and build it back up again a little bit from a mechanic standpoint. And I just don't think he's quite there yet. That having been said, to Macon's point, this is going to be a good game. I don't know why it's a good game, because I think part of it is because the Texans can't protect.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is Indy, okay? It's not like they're playing Green Bay at Green Bay. That's going to be a hell of a team to have to protect against late in the season. But, they have had trouble with the front offensively. And they've been terrible on early downs this year. D'Amico's a blitz guy. He's blitzed young quarterbacks like he's upset with them. And I would think this weekend should be a continuation of that.
And Richardson's dead last in the league with a 28.9 passing grade against the blitz.
I read this, and maybe it was in your breakdown, Reed, but the Texans beat the Colts in week 1, 29-27. The Texans haven't swept the season series since 2016 and have only won 4 of the last 13 matchups against their division rivals.
Yep.
Numbers.
That's not good.
And the Colts, they're 11-6 in one-score games against with Shane Steichen. They've each game this season for them has been decided by 6 points or fewer.
Huh. Somebody said insurance for Tua. I would love to see Flacco down in Miami. I would just love to see Miami Flacco. That is legitimately all a senior citizen deserves, is like a chance to go
if Tyreek
snowbird.
If Tyreek's crying now that he gets to catch a deep ball from Tua again, how do you think he'd react?
Ugly
being able
cry.
to catch
Ugly cry.
Just like
ugly cry.
On his hands and knees.
Just ugly cry. Can't breathe.
And then he'd ask Joe if he could tackle.
Snot. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You think I can tackle you? I was like, bro, you are just like my brother said you were. Okay, what's next?
Jets at Patriots.
Yeah.
Do you think this game is going to be a little bounce back for Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams? Are they going to get something cooking?
Well, listen.
Yeah, it's going to be cooking.
This is an interesting game.
This is fucking gasoline getting thrown into that dumpster.
We'll see.
When they lose this game, this is like someone passing by a dumpster on fire.
You think they'll lose the Pats?
I think it's a chance, bro.
Oh, I think there's always a chance.
Me too.
I think there's always a chance.
And I think the Pats, like, their team isn't that bad.
They got shredded on Thursday night.
At any point, yeah. Drake May, he might only have one good game, one like really memorable game this year, and this could be it.
Yeah, Drake May looks good, dude. He looks good. Pats fans, you got yourself a dude. Hopefully, it's super early to say something like that, but like he looks good. The first game they played, it was like the Jets. I hated their game plan offensively. I hated the way they played the sticks on third down. I hated everything about it. I hated it. I hated everything about their game plan. They'll be better this game, and they've got a better quarterback. I'm not saying that earns them a ticket to the dance floor here, but both teams are reeling. Okay, one team got called out by their new wide receiver at the podium.
Jesus.
Okay. The other team got called out by their head coach. And when you hear the S word, that's terrible. Like when you hear that word, it feels personal. And when I first heard Gerard through the game of telephone saying that about his team and then walking it back, I thought maybe he misspoke because he's saying it's the whole, you're not a bitch, you're being a bitch. Like that thing, which never works. Never tried it. No, it doesn't work. Okay? Just doesn't work.
You've said that to me a time or
Have
two.
I had that? I'm talking about in your marriage.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, another marriage, a work marriage.
Yeah.
Did I say bitch?
I think so.
Oh, really? You are not soft, but you're being soft. But then I watched the whole press conference, and kudos to Gerard Mayo for he seems very comfortable up there giving the answer and moving on, and I'm not joining the long line of people who are calling for his head because that's my guy. I think you got to give coaches time. But he did not make a mistake saying that. That wasn't like a whoops. He thought about it. He said it.
Tape don't lie.
I would have rather you just come out the next day and say, hey, I think that's what we are right now. We have a chance to prove otherwise this weekend, and that's going to be my job to get these guys ready for the game.
As a new coach,
and it's a reflection on me as well. And I think he's taken accountability in some ways for the performance of the team. But on Sunday, that's not, that's, hey, you guys are soft. And I watched the tape. I watched all their run plays. I watched all the explosives, the whole thing. They're missing guys. Okay, they're missing players from last year. You want to compare them to last year? And I know my coworker, the GOAT, the hoodie, says, it's the same guys. But Barmore's down. They're also missing stud linebacker. And I think, not for nothing, they lost Steve Belichick, who went to Washington, right, who's a damn good coach in his own right. They lose Bill Belichick. They lose really that whole staff. They know how to do things, and I kind of wonder if this group was practicing as hard as Bill would have had them practicing in camp. And part of that is not a toughness thing, but it's a repetition thing. Tackling, hand placement, reps, shedding blocks. I can remember going to New England for training camp. It was not the hardest training camp in the world. Like, Doug Peterson's training camp was a motherfucker. Like, he low-key has an Andy Reid training camp. Interesting to think about Andy Reid. Some people, they judge a book by its cover. Andy Reid, big smiley guy. You just want to give him a hug. You want to sit on his lap at the mall and tell him what you want for Christmas. But no, he will kick your ass in training camp. He's not Santa Claus at all. Like, it's a million reps. And it was the same thing with Doug Peterson. And it's the same thing with coaches. Spags had a tougher camp than Bill, but that was the 2-a-days back in the day. But the point I'm making is Bill still worked on the fundamentals, okay? Bill was very adamant about working on the fundamentals. We would do live goal line tackle. We would do two-spot, which is effectively like a blocker and an offensive lineman. The best compliment I ever got from a coach was before I got down in my stance against his rookie. Scar says, you got to get low for this guy. I was like, fuck yeah, Scar complimented me. But we used to do that every day. And so that stuff really, it pays dividends. It matters. It matters to put your hands on people and feel the blocks and shed the blocks. So I don't know if they're preparing the same way, but I would not call the group soft. I don't see things on the field, to me, that say guys making business decisions or being afraid of contact. That to me is what soft is. Okay. So I don't think this group's soft. I think they miss guys. Something that's really going to be interesting is Reddick off the street. Guy hasn't played football in forever. What's that going to look like?
You're about to get pancaked.
I don't know. Really don't know. If he goes out there and has 2 sacks, there really is something to, some pass rushers just roll out of bed with the juice. And Jets secondary is an issue. That's the other thing. I don't know. Drake May took advantage of some Houston guys that were replacements the second half of that game. He can do the same with some of the depth issues maybe. Eccles had a rough day last week. Ashton Davis has showed up in some situations. I think Drake May could have a decent day through the air.
And and with Mayo being a new coach, every coach has to have his own little way to get his team motivated. And maybe this is his way. Maybe he wants to try this way. Hey, I call these guys soft.
Good morning, pussies.
Hey, maybe they respond the right way, or you switch it up. I just feel like it's something that we don't know exactly what's going on in that locker room. And if it's something that maybe he's already instilled and saying around guys, maybe it just doesn't matter, and maybe these guys will respond the right way off of it.
Well, the point that I think some people in the New England media made was it's hard to start out buddy and then course correct halfway through the year. Be the young, positive coach. You got to almost do it the other way, which I think there's some credence to that. If I were a coach, the first month of the season, I'm going to make you wonder if I hate you, because seriously, it's like Pavlov's dog, right? Not Pavlov. What'd you call it? What'd you call it last week? It was another syndrome. It was a Stockholm syndrome.
Oh yeah,
Stockholm.
Yeah.
I want to fucking rattle you so bad that the minute I come up to you week 1 and say, hey, good play, you're like, it feels like a hit of dopamine that a Zen 18 couldn't produce.
But to your point, he didn't do that this week. He did walk it back. He said, they're not soft. We're playing soft at the moment.
Yeah.
He should have gone in on it.
Yeah, but to play soft at the moment, that means that in your mind, you're still saying they're playing soft.
I know. I just
And
wish
so-
he had said exactly what you said.
Yeah,
That is who we are right now.
that is who we are right now.
Yeah.
We can be something different next week. It's up to us.
Yep.
And y'all can make a big deal about it and say, I'm calling them soft. I'm calling the players that were on the field Sunday soft.
Maybe that's when the position coaches say, all right, let's prove that guy wrong this
Yeah.
week.
And that's the way it works in an NFL building. So I don't think it's a cardinal sin, but
In the chat, someone said, "Good morning, pussies." That's the Brian Flores school of coaching.
yeah, exactly. Guy's terrible. Can't coach. None of his players like him. You know? Well, last night, wasn't it?
Do you think that if the Jets lose this game, is Devontae Adams, does he go to Aaron Rodgers and just be like, "Hey, man, let me go. Let me go somewhere else. Just let me," he does the "I love you,"
dude.
but
No, I don't think so.
Depends
because he's got a week. He's got, after this game, he's got a week before the trade deadline.
depends if he's still living in his crib or not.
Would you do that for your friend, though? Would you, like, the realest thing a friend could do is if you lose this game and you're Aaron Rodgers and you want to be real and be like a good friend, you'd be like, all right, bro, I'm going to sit here and I'll go. The captain goes down with the ship.
Aaron Rodgers?
All
is
the
gonna
women
do
and
that?
children.
No, Aaron
go.
Rodgers
I'm
is
saying
not going to do that.
He's not going to do that. But, like,
But as
if
a
you
friend,
lose this
yes.
weekend, hey, who wants out? Anybody that wants out, I'll talk to the GM.
Yeah. Even though they don't listen to me.
I'll talk to Woody. You know?
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of power, but we'll see what I can do.
When you have a team like that, when like coaches or people get mad, like, hey, if you don't want to be a part of this,
Leave.
get out now.
And then somebody leaves and they're like, where the fuck did he go? You coward. Bro, I remember a coach said that we had a fucking young D tackle who had just had it and he walked out of the room and the coach was like, get the fuck back here.
The call of coach's bluff on that.
So funny.
Oh, man.
like the SpongeBob meme. All right, I'm going to head out.
You want to be here, leave.
Man.
Saints, Chargers.
Oh, my dad said this to me once, and I left, and I ran away down the street for like 2 hours.
That's hilarious.
Nobody came to check.
And that's the worst. You think you're looking over your shoulder like, oh, they're coming.
Oh, they're
gonna be-"
coming any minute now.
Right.
Third party's coming.
Nope.
No, Dad didn't say if you don't like it, you leave. I think you don't like living in this house, and I was like, you know what, I'm running away.
Do you think he watched you at the window and just was like, yeah, Chris is just, he's
Nah,
over there.
I
I've got a
just
lot
think he
on
knew
him.
I was a scary ass 13-year-old. I wasn't going anywhere.
Black families.
Plus, that was the
if you
90s.
do that,
You'd run away.
If you do that, black families, as soon as your back hits outside that door is going to slam.
Oh, no
on
question.
You.
No
Go
question.
ahead. See how long you last.
Yeah, no question.
And then let you knock on the door for about 5-10 minutes when you come back.
There was a long period of silence. It wasn't like I walked back in the room and people were like, I'm so happy to see you.
No. No, like you dummy.
Fucking idiot. How'd that go?
And now thinking about it, if one of your kids, God forbid, like if they were like, yo, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Say-
if one of my kids were like, we're leaving, I don't know what I would say.
In the moment, you'll be like,
I don't know what I would say.
what?
I'd say, where do you want to be traded?
See if we can make that
Dad,
happen.
anywhere but Cleveland, Dad.
Anywhere but Macon's house.
Hey,
Doesn't look fun.
we got rid of the tub.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Just built a fence, though.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Paid somebody to build a fence.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Smart.
That's the way to go.
Smart. Saints at Chargers. Chargers are 7-point favorites.
Oh, boy, they should be. God, hard to imagine they're going to start stopping the run now, the Saints. I went back and watched that game the other night, and Justin Herbert, I know people don't want to hear this because we live in the era of takes and the era of, take anchoring and that sort of thing, but Justin Herbert has a chance to be special. And I'll be saying that for 10 years if they don't get it right around him, but the throws that he makes on a regular basis, I've never seen a ball look so light and heavy at the same time. It's like the ball feels like he's throwing a medicine ball 40 miles an hour, and it's just flat. It's like it's so flat and catchable. The ball looks like just – I've never been a wide receiver, but I would imagine catching the balls that he throws. But yet people can't catch the fucking ball. People dropping the ball the other night. The ball placement's great. I think maybe there's one or two plays late in that game that he wants to have back. Opportunities that he might have missed. But overall, your quarterback plays like that, you're supposed to win. Now, I think the Chargers came into this year knowing we're not going to be perfect outside. We're not going to be perfect as a team in general. We got a damn good defense. The saving grace for me, though, is at least he's not getting peppered back there through this process, because this team's going through a process. He's not getting hit when he is getting hit. I saw him got hit the other night. He had a guy in his back like a JanSport. He walked 4 steps and then threw a dime in the middle of the field. The guy is otherworldly special, and I know that people don't like him because the results haven't been there yet, but I see stats all the time about in 300-yard games, you know, the Chargers have lost this many games on the last play. The Chargers have lost this many games where he throws for 300 yards. It is not all about Herbert, and there will be a day where we wake up and this team is very dangerous. I really believe that. But it's not quite yet. Defense is damn good. This week, imagine being a rookie quarterback and playing this Chargers defense. Whew.
You know that that meme? It was like
Herbert is dog water. Found somebody that doesn't watch tape.
That meme. It was if the Chargers draft Jamar Chase, it's going to be Justin Herbert getting hit as he's trying to throw the ball to Chase. If they draft Slater, it's going to be blocking, but he has no one to throw to. Right?
Yeah.
There was another one the other day, and it was like they drafted Slater and Joe Alt, both blocking their players, and they've got Lab McConkey downfield, but the interior O-line is just letting whoever right up the middle, and Herbert's still getting hit as he's trying.
Yeah, that's the one. I think it might have been the same play, but there's dudes on his back, and he's just listen. He's not somebody who doesn't see the field. He's not somebody who can't pepper the ball anywhere on the field. He's not a problem. He's not a coach's nightmare. He's not a coach killer. He seems like a pleasure to work with. And I think the problem that everybody has with him is he's this big, white, prototypical looking quarterback. And I'm just going to say, and he hasn't had the wins. And so people think that they're kid gloving this guy when honestly, just watch the guy. Watch the guy. Keep it simple. Look what's around him. Watch the guy. He had the coach the last time that Herbert played last year. Who was the coach? Brandon Staley. Okay, how long was he there? 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big chunk of your rookie deal. Probably want that one back, right? Probably want some of the offensive game plans they had back. Probably want some of the execution late in games back. I think Herbert's going to be fine, man. There were people that liked Tua better than Herbert. Are y'all still out there? Is that you, Brandon Bean? Or Brandon, whatever your name is?
You tell me Chargers. I think of Matt Kingston, who had the Chargers covered on Monday night. He would have won $100,727.54. Now, Matt, are you sitting down? It looks like you are sort of halfway. Bring the big check in. So, Matt, we passed the hat around, and we know it was a tough loss for you. And,
that's tough. You didn't pass me the hat.
Well, we did pass you the hat. We thank you for your donation.
Really?
Matt, what we are going to do for you is recoup you that $25 bonus bet with $25.
No, give him 26.
Courtesy of BetMGM. It's already on the big check and everything.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Where's the big check?
Yeah, there's no big check.
Okay. So the people know. The people know.
Rager owes him
He lost $100,000 the other night. He didn't lose $100,000, but that was out there on the table. And I want to be as. I don't know how to say I'm sorry. I feel like we're all responsible somehow.
Rager.
I don't even know. It's just one of those things. Just
well, but why didn't he hedge?
It was up to me. I could have.
He was proud not to hedge. I'll say that. You're like Tua there. You're all. I'm defiant. I'm not wearing the Guardian cap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hedging. Hedging's for losers and suckers.
Might have lost some extra money in the scheme of things too. Because didn't you say you doubled?
Yo, somebody said Herbert is average at best. How do you wake up in the morning and go about your day? Do you drive on the wrong side of the road? Do you brush your teeth with a fucking blow dryer? How Herbert's average at best? Are we not watching the games?
And chat is calling me a degen gambler. And chat, you're fucking right. That's who I am.
Herbert, David Petrosky. I'm sure you're a nice person, but you might not know football.
Kingston, the IRS would have been a problem
Yeah.
at $100,000.
And that's exactly right. If I try to hedge for 50 grand and then I lose it, then I have 100 grand coming in that I have to pay taxes on. You'd be making like 18 grand. So,
All right.
Yeah, that
what's
would be
what's the next? The next.
Where you
game?
are now?
We're still lamenting Matt's bet, which I feel really bad about.
We're going to the Kermit the Frog game. Chiefs at Raiders. As you remember this summer,
Kermit the Frog.
the Raiders.
Will Disley's getting 11 targets in that game. Sorry to overmodulate the microphone, but people in the chat, Will Disley is getting 11 targets.
Well, Disley's good.
Okay.
Seattle Seahawks.
All right.
So
Ask a GM in the NFL. You ever meet a former GM? You ever meet a former player? Ask them if they were drafting quarterbacks, where they would draft Justin Herbert. Blind quarterback draft.
And maybe ask one chubby bunny in the chat. They said, as a Denver fan, I would commit war crimes for Herbert. I would too.
I would probably do it too, and I have no dog in the fight.
I
I
would
would
too.
just do it. I've been feeling like committing a war crime lately. I got a hankering for a war crime,
A war crime that might be,
but not one
committed.
of the bad ones.
Right. Good.
One of the less disruptive war crimes. Like I want to hack into somebody's shit.
Do you think it's going to be a bad war crime that's committed by the Chiefs on the Raiders because of this Kermit the Frog stuff?
Hey, we'll handle that when it's time to handle it, bro. When I heard Patrick Mahomes say we'll handle that when it's, what did he say exactly? When I heard that, that is akin to like your dad being like, "I'll see you when I get home."
It'll get handled when it's handled.
But this is
I'll see you when I get home. Hey,
this is an
put your
interesting-
mom on the phone.
this is an interesting
I'll see
wink.
you when I get home, bro.
This is an interesting wink to try that because I feel like it's coming soon. And with them playing a team like this, Patrick Mahomes doing that whole little sideline, going out of bounds and let me speed up. He's going to get his head taken off. Like, whether it's going to be a penalty or not, one of these teams, coaches is going to be like, hey, we're going to set the tone.
though.
No, like, if he does one of those tiptoe things to the wrong person on the sideline, they're going to, and he's trying to get like, it's cool you get that little 15-yard penalty, but unless someone really rings your bell with you doing that. And I think that's coming up soon because guys are getting burnt.
What do you
on
think? He's
him.
made of paper mache? Did you see what he did to Mustafa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
What
like,
do you think he's made of? Fuck, you think he's a pinata?
I'm
Bro,
telling
that's
you.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That guy's got a. He's built like a caddy.
Until he gets hit, and then
Bro,
everyone's going to be like, oh, that's a quarterback. You can't do that.
No one's gonna do that.
Yeah.
You're in your straw man bag.
I mean, I think
You're in your straw man bag.
I'm telling you.
There might be
I'm
some
waiting for
people
it.
on the internet, or the flag might fly, but nobody in this room, so you know, is going to say that. You okay?
not.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, for Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I hope it's your boy.
Who? What boy?
I hope it's Crosby to take his head off.
What do you think I'm going to do?
I don't know.
I'm a defensive lineman. Played 11 years in the NFL, Nate. You're a defensive lineman. You played a long time. You do the same thing.
No, I know.
There's no issue. The issue is usher the guy out of bounds. Don't run right by him like you're fucking Stevie Wonder, dude. That's
Yeah,
what the problem was.
It is. That is.
For an old school coach, I would have thought you would have been on Winter's head a little bit more.
Talk about a blind quarterback draft.
What?
Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
I can't name a blind quarterback.
Eli, not Manning. The book of Eli.
Jameis Winston.
We just name him. blind people.
Yeah.
Legally
That's
blind
great.
at one point.
Yeah, that's true.
He'd be a
After his
Got
30 for
Lakers.
30 season.
Yep.
Then got LASIK.
I
Hey,
can't
Book
see
of
anything
Eli
out
is a
here.
stupid movie.
Agreed.
There's a lot of stupid.
It's a stupid movie. I know there is, but like this is a stupid movie, and I love Denzel, but this is a stupid movie. You're gonna tell me the guy's not blind? Come on,
Put your hand on me again, you won't get it back.
come on, bro, please. Okay, so it is the Kermit revenge game. Listen, this is interesting. I got this from Edward Sharp. Well, not Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros. I always get it, Warren Sharp. Warren Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros. Patrick Mahomes rules. We talk about, like your guy Antonio Pierce coming out and saying, and I do think they're going to be hitting his ass. Okay, if they can.
If
all
they
right?
can.
Yeah, if they can. So, but this is the attitude that they have, right? Like they said it out loud. The Jordan rules, this is the Mahomes rules for us. He said it with Crosby sitting on the couch right next to him. You know how bold that is? That's the mindset they're going to have. But as Warren Sharp in the Magnetic Zeros pointed out, Adrian Hill is who the league went with as the official this week. Adrian Hill is number 1 in roughing the passer. He's number 1 in neutral zone infractions, and he's number 1 in defensive penalties.
Because they're trying to protect Mahomes. They know Mahomes opened up Pandora's box.
That's not why.
I think they're looking
you and
at
Bo are stuck on this thing. By the way, you got killed in the comments. Just killed. I looked at the comments. Y'all got murdered in the comments for the Mahomes take.
What about it?
It was a bad take.
What happened last week? I forgot. Oh, on Monday. What was the take? What was it? I forget the take.
I don't know.
Remind me.
The take was that everything's Mahomes' fault, and Mahomes sucks, and he's a huge baby. That was Bo's take.
Oh, I didn't say that.
No, I know, but you're saying somebody's going to tattoo him and the whole thing. The reason they're bringing the sideline thing is not as big a deal as the fact that the Raiders said out loud last year, we're going to hit this guy.
Yeah.
And I think the attitude of this team is generally fuck these guys. And I think that's why Adrian Hill's on the job. And I think that's why they're going to take a closer look. And it might manifest in a sideline hit. But I think this guy, Adrian Hill, was going to be on this game if the NFL is doing this intentionally for weeks. Like, I don't think after last week they're like, well, I saw what Mahomes did on the sideline. I think this was going to be a contentious game since they beat him at Arrowhead 20-16. Mm-hmm. And I think when you look at that game, Nate, if you remember, I don't know if you remember, but like what the Raiders did really well was they forced 2 turnovers. They stuck to it. It was like I think the Chiefs outgained them on the ground. The Chiefs outgained them as a team on the day. They had 22 more plays. The Chiefs had 22 more plays, like a bunch more time possession, and just turned the ball over twice. And Mahomes didn't play that well. So I think the difference this year, though, is no Josh Jacobs. And Spags is going to be blitzing the fuck out of Gardner Minshew. Like, I think that could get ugly.
Well, and the Raiders' defense was competent last year, less so this year.
A little bit less so, yeah. A lot of it. So I don't know, man. We should put a prop. We want to put a prop that he gets tattooed on the sideline. I'll give you – what kind of odds did I give you? We should think up an in-house prop for the sideline thing. Right. Bo can buy in, too.
Should be like plus 400-ish.
That he gets a penalty on the sideline?
That he gets drilled on
that
the
he
sideline.
Draws a penalty on the sideline? Do you think he's going to draw a penalty or no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like 1,000%.
So 4-1, $20.
Where? Shake. He definitely. What does that mean?
I
don't know.
He wiped off your hand.
Yeah. I'm fucking with you.
But I'm telling you, the only reason why, though, I feel like it is just that guys seen what happened last week, but more importantly, it's guys seen him do that fake going out of bounds, but also running someone over like for a touchdown. And that too, like, puts you on notice, like, hey, like,
they're going to come for him.
Yeah, I'm not going to let that happen.
They're going to come for him.
Because everyone's seeing that this week and being like, you do not want, like, it's one thing if a small running back does that to you.
Oh, but the QB?
A QB. It doesn't matter what size. A QB doing that to you is not something you want to happen. And I feel like defenders now, you're just kind of on notice that, like, you know what?
So I'm
clear.
So I'm clear. The issue I take with the take, with you and Bo, is like, I just disagree that there's no way to usher him out of bounds. Mm-hmm. People act like he's in this indefensible position because but we do it all the time. You got to deal with quarterbacks,
and also it's
just push him out of bounds.
But also too, and like I don't want to give too much. I don't want to give too much credit, but. It's gamesmanship on Mahomes, and he's really, really good at it. And to believe it or not, like if you're a quarterback, like that tough guy act, like that doesn't get you calls. So believe it or not, like, and it's part of the game, and it's whether people want to call it like trash or not. Like, hey, if this is something they're looking for in the game, of course, it's just like taking a charge. Like every time guys in basketball,
people draw fouls, people draw PIs, people draw holds. I mean, I've been like, oh, he's holding me.
Exactly.
Fuck, dude,
it's just, but it's gamesmanship and it's part of the game. And I just feel like he's done it to the max with this situation. And to Bo's point, it's just hard to think as a defender that you're gonna get the better end of the stick on any of those plays.
Here was the issue. It would have been watch that play. That Bo's complaining about.
Oh, okay.
It would have been so
easy. Yeah. You just push him.
Just use the sideline.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
or just try to shove him as hard as you can. But then that's the thing too. Like sometimes we see the penalty on that because it's
on
like,
the shove. Sure.
It's like it's unnecessary. So like that's the.
But what did Winters do? Do you remember what Winters did? See, that's the problem. Nobody remembers. It's just, I'm not saying you, but like
he stopped. He just stopped and lofted out of bounds.
Ran out of bounds.
Yeah. I do remember.
He kind of overran the play.
Yeah. And then and Patrick was just kind of like, well, if you're gonna do that, then I'm gonna get some more yards.
We're talking enough about hugging Patrick Mahomes. 2 D linemen talking about hugging Patrick Mahomes.
The love huggers.
I oughta.
The love huggers coming. The best hugger in the game.
Who?
Or the love pusher.
Oh, the love pusher.
We're gonna see
the best pusher in the game. He's not gonna hug that. He's not gonna love push that man. He's gonna hate push that man.
Broncos Panthers.
Yes.
Broncos giving 10 points. Big line.
Tell me why.
It's Bryce Young.
Because it's just going to be a big win for you guys.
Bro, it's an extra win. We're getting closer to 9 wins.
I'm nervous.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, I'm always nervous.
What about this game makes you nervous?
Because what if Bryce Young learned something the last 3-4 weeks? What he's like, oh, yo, man. That's why he was smiling on the sideline.
Where's the game?
In Denver. So, like thin air, maybe that ball goes a couple yards farther. Maybe
but he's at a lot lower altitude than the other guys because he's a lot shorter. So maybe the altitude doesn't really bother him the same.
True.
But did you know that on no, I'm not going to give you this gambling tip here, Macon. But there's a funny ass gambling tip about Bryce. But I don't see this as a game that I'm going to be watching. I'll just be honest. I might buzz through the All-22 next Tuesday. Philly. But like, unless the Panthers win this game, it's going to be hard for me to buzz through this by Monday's show. I'll just be honest. Level set expectations.
This is our first no reasons to watch game.
Well, there is a reason to watch. Where do you want to send Deontay Johnson?
Not good enough to be sent. He's where he belongs.
You think he's where he belongs?
Yeah.
In purgatory there?
Yeah.
Or is that hell?
Yeah, Pittsburgh might have been purgatory.
Yeah. You can at least masturbate in purgatory. You can't masturbate down in Carolina.
Right.
No jacking off.
Right.
Do you get that? You don't get it.
I don't at all.
Yeah, like
no.
Dave Canales.
No. Oh, now I get it. Yeah. He wrote a book about it.
Yeah. Wrote a whole book.
Yeah.
I can tell you don't get it. Yeah. Anything else?
Real fast Monday night. You want to give us a quick Monday night? Giants at the Steelers. Is Russ? Is he going to build on the Thursday night game? Are we going to have another couple moon balls?
Who's playing the Steelers and whom?
Giants.
New York Giants.
Steelers, Giants. Yeah, I think this is a tailor-made Steelers spot. The line reflects it.
And 5.
It's just.
And guess who I just grabbed, guys? In fantasy, just picked up Russell Wilson.
Did you really?
After getting my first win,
you're gonna need
I'm about to ramp things up, guys.
Hey,
yeah, 8-6 is still up there for you.
I'm about to do what Chris thinks the Bengals are gonna do.
What do I think the Bengals are gonna do?
I don't know.
Go 13-4.
No, I don't. They're gonna lose to the Eagles, and then they're gonna go undefeated after
12-5.
that.
All right.
Nice. I like that.
Hey, chat. I love y'all. Even the non-ball watchers.
And
even if you think Justin Herbert's trash, I love you.
And we also love BetMGM. Let's send them off on a couple words.
Oh, BetMGM. As we get ready for Week 8 in the NFL this weekend, I want you to picture this. You bet your favorite player as first touchdown scorer, but he throws a block to send a teammate into the end zone, and you lose your bet, right?
Wrong.
With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Keep that in mind next time you throw in a first touchdown score bet with BetMGM. Happy hunting. Hey, I love y'all. Good show. Hey, I love y'all, chat. I love the chat. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Come back Monday at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. We got those Week 8 reactions.
Week 8 reacts. Hey, take good care. Go Who's.
As always.